Where are we?
Let me make the announcement. The announcements channel.
Start with the Spirit of the Samurai.
Wait, hold on.
I may ask you to refresh at some point.
I'll refresh the wrong window, but okay. Okay. All right. So, Spirit of the Samurai release trailer or gameplay trailer?
Is it getting a? Is it already? Is it about to come out?
It's on the playlist.
Yeah.
Oh, do I have two of them on there?
Yes,
you do.
We'll do the first one because we got Vampire Survivors right after, and I want to listen to that again.
Yeah. No. Well, remove the second one, I guess, and then start with the first one.
I don't have edit permissions. You gotta do it.
Okay, I'll do it.
All right.
Hello, everybody in chat.
Hello, chat.
Hello.
Oh,
whether you like it or not, hello, chat.
You know that youths nowadays are just referring to each other as chat?
Hello?
Yeah, I heard that. That's fucking weird, and I hate it.
All right, let's go.
Ooh, this is like that. This is like the play. What's up, Crispy?
Hi, Crispy.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, this claymation thing. Yeah, I remember this now.
Yeah, this shit looks wild.
This looks.
I don't know if this is the most recent trailer I saw. This got. I think there's like a new trailer because it got a release date finally.
I've seen this trailer, and it's been a while since I've seen any trailer for this game.
There's new shit. It's just. Oh, it's because it's on the Next Fest. It was on the Next Fest, the demo, and it got a release date.
Is it this year?
It is this year, I believe.
I don't need any more this year. God damn it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no shit, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Fall. Well, that's not really a release. Well, I guess this is not the trailer with the
No, that's not the trailer. It has a release date trailer or something.
Gotcha.
Get the right one. Right. I saw more of that and it looks fucking wild. All right, now this is the shit worth talking about. I don't know what...
Vampire Survivors, right? Castlevania is officially part of Vampire Survivors.
Well, no, it's like a big deal DLC.
Yeah, it's
huge. There's like a ton of shit, dude.
I wasn't trying to downplay it or anything. I'm just saying.
20 new characters, 40 weapons.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
40 weapons, 20 characters, like 40 songs.
That's more than the game released with.
Oh, God!
Are they just saying that Castlevania's dead and we should just be happy that this is now this generation's Castlevania?
It is. There's an insane amount of Castlevania stuff in the world in the past like half decade that's not actual new Castlevania games.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Everyone
bananas.
is here. They aren't lying.
And it's wild that they're adding a vampire.
Look how many different types
survivors.
of whips that they have in here. Which is the crazy part is these different types of whips have like totally been in the series.
Yeah.
Like functionally, it's wild. Oh, I can't wait. And like the enemies, like they didn't even say how many new enemies and stuff, but like there's like
what's the name of this song? Blood something?
Bloody. I can't really hear it. It's probably
Bloody Tears. It's Bloody Tears. There you go. I was like bloody something.
They got bosses from the Castlevania games. Oh, it's wild.
When this trailer started, we were talking about Vampire Survivor. In my head, I was not picturing this game. I was picturing oh my god, what's the like isometric vampire other game that we've been talking about a lot this year? V-Rising. I was thinking it was V-Rising.
That also had Castlevania.
It does. Why are there so many games that aren't Castlevania?
I want to play co-op. They've got deep cut bosses in this shit.
Dude, if fucking Red whatever, Blood Red. What's it called? The co-op shooter.
Redfall.
Redfall.
If Redfall had lived long,
pause.
it would have gotten Castlevania.
Let's see this
DLC.
shit.
That's probably
so. If
true.
they say one huge castle, they say one huge castle. They got like a giant Castlevania map. That's crazy. Like it's just gonna be the whole castle.
Is the
you
map
get all this for $4?
Yes.
Is Soma in this?
It's a fucking steal.
Dude, they got 20 plus characters. Soma's of course in there. They've got deep cuts in there.
And
it's gonna be wild.
Crispy. And they've got everyone is in there.
Everyone.
And they've got
actually
They got Alucard in there, so that means there's actually a vampire in Vampire Survivors.
Okay.
Wait a second. Are you telling me there's
It's a
not?
meme. It's a meme.
Oh,
Hold
okay.
on. Hold on. Sure. Hey, but like also, what was I gonna say? Oh, we can move on. But this gives me like Harmony of Despair energy. That XBLA game that had all the different characters. Oh,
Okay.
I love that shit.
Mm,
I'm super excited about this. This drops October 31st, same day as Dragon Age, same week as the Monster Hunter Wilds beta, and
Oh my
right
god!
when I take a week off of work, and it wasn't even planned.
Guys, I didn't even realize a new Dragon Age drops in less than a week.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take
More than a week.
Crazy.
Okay,
It's
Right.
on
Halloween.
Friday.
good call. But still,
Check this out. I think we've shown this before. This is a pixel art retro
with live action cutscenes.
horror game with
exactly.
live action cutscenes, which is
Yeah.
wild. I think this had a Next Fest demo, which is what I think I put some of these trailers because they had Next Fest demos, but then I didn't.
Is this getting
try
is
it.
this getting a release? Because this would be great for Halloween.
I don't know. I don't know actually.
think
It might even be out.
is.
I don't actually know, but it's
I mean,
I intended to
New Blood's
play a bunch of
just
these
announced
demos,
that
but I
they're
never got to.
publishing it, so
This looks cool. I'm
It's
still
such a
planning
cool
on doing.
idea.
I'm still planning on doing a Halloween stream before actual Halloween. But this looks like it would be cool to do. But yeah, that first live action clip was creepy as shit. Love-ish. What is this?
Did y'all see Monster Hunter Wilds? Oh, I wanted to throw this in there because this is from the developers of Castle in the Darkness and also, more importantly, Astalon Tears of the Earth, which is a game I loved from a few years ago.
yeah.
This just
I
came
recall.
out of nowhere. Like they just announced this new game, which I think is like some sort of like roguelike or something. There was a demo of this as well, but I barely got to touch it. I've just been busy.
What the
But
fuck?
it's like
The
a
Super Mario Land 3?
definitely. I think it was 2. Actually.
Mario
You're talking about with the
Mario
Silhouette
Brothers
World
three.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I will, after playing Astalon, which is a game that I was just sort of like, fondly thinking back on just the other day.
What the
Okay.
fuck?
I'll play anything that this developer makes at
Oh
this
my
point. So
god!
That's
It's a
cute.
Metal Gear Solid reference.
I need to spend more
I
time
love
with the demo.
Oh, here we go.
We have yet another
I have
Monster
not-
Hunter Wilds trailer.
I have not watched this
It's a
trailer.
good one.
yet.
It's a good one. They got some crazy monsters.
Oh, that's good
The-
because it is
Next
monster.
week is a beta with 2 hunts. Alpha open beta with 2 hunts. And
Oh, it's
with
open. I thought
the
I didn't realize
character
it was
creator, with the character creator that carries over into the main game, which is
Okay.
literally just a few months away.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Fuck yeah!
Crispy, we doing it? Who else here is picking it up day one? I'm curious.
I mean, I'm
mean,
gonna pick up
Monster
the
Hunter?
game.
Hell yeah.
I'm picking up the
I
game
know
day
you
one.
are.
I don't know if I'm gonna do the beta.
no, not the beta. I'm not talking about the
Oh
beta.
yeah. I'm
necessarily.
going day one for sure. Day one.
Look at this fucking
100%.
tar chicken thing. It's crazy.
Tar chicken.
This thing is disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
love
is.
it.
Continuing a long tradition of fucking disgusting monsters.
Like a
from
tar
Monster
mosquito chicken.
Hunter. Monsters that I want to kill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, I want to genocide you.
Look at him squatting that thing to death. Oh my god, this looks
This guy
fucking
looks
beautiful.
Hard.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a fucking monkey. Oh my god, I love it.
I am going to be a little sad about the beta because it's going to be the stark reality of how this game is going to perform on a PlayStation 5 that's not a pro. But I'll get used to it. Remember, all this launches day and date on PC as well. So if you got
and,
a
and it's
decent
gonna have
PC,
crossplay, right?
it will have crossplay. Yes.
Yeah.
For the first time
Fuck
ever.
yes. Ooh, shit.
Oh, you can set up.
My god, some of the environmental things you can trigger look
Oh
awesome.
yeah. Check out this last monster though. Unhinged.
We never wanted this to happen.
Crazy.
No stopping it now. Not once it starts flowing.
What the fuck? What the hell? It's like a kraken.
This wasn't supposed to happen.
I don't think this is supposed to happen.
Like a fucking
What?
octopus or something.
Like an
it's
octopus,
crazy.
Yeah. A lava octopus. A loctopus.
There we go.
It's
Nailed it.
fucking
Crushed
annoying.
it.
It's like an
What is a
alternate
lance
design
gonna do
for
to that
Blanco.
thing?
Juicy
It's
orifices.
so
Oh my
unfair
God.
that I love the lance. Why? Why?
Shove your lance in one of its holes.
Dude, they showed a new sword and shield that looks so sick. Did you? There was like instead of being like a short little, just like short sword, it was like this big ass fucking like really cool looking wicked blade.
I've not
I
watched
do wanna-
that entire recent presentation.
I do want to point out that I'm very happy that RGG pushed up the release of Pirate Yakuza by a week.
Yeah,
so we can get out of the
they
way
know
of
what
this.
they're. Yeah. It's literally, I don't care what your game is. This game is gonna trounce it.
Yes.
Like World sold like fucking 25 million copies. Like, and this thing is gonna be bigger than World. I guarantee
Yes.
it. It's everything needs to get the fuck out of the way. Honestly. What was the game that? There's something else that's coming out that same day.
I bet you it'll slip. Whatever it is, I bet you it'll slip. Let me pull up my release calendar. I don't. You say, what is it? February 25th,
28th.
28th.
28th. Avowed is the 18th.
Oh, Avowed. Okay.
And Assassin's Creed Shadow is the 14th, so that's close.
Now we can face ourselves.
Dizzy, right?
Dizzy, yeah. Yeah, I love Dizzy from Guilty Gear X2. I've not even watched this, but Queen
don't know
Dizzy.
how-
What is this? I'm digging this like
Won't bring me down.
I'm digging this like J-pop metal combo.
Oh, Guilty
here.
Gear is all about like J-pop metal, Nick.
I mean, if I was to be a fighting game person,
But maybe
it would
tonight,
probably be Guilty Gear. Unfortunately, I
isn't it natural
I
to
can't.
believe what you want to
Ooh,
believe?
we
Can't
got
bring
a
myself
Belgrade
to do it.
launch trailer. Hey, you're gonna need to refresh this. I think. I'm not sure how much. It is.
I think it refreshes every time it switches trailers. So
It's so difficult to decide. I won't let you bear your burdens alone.
I don't know how ArcSys just does this animation style, but it's absolutely fucking incredible.
Just please.
It is very good,
keep
but
an
again,
eye out for me.
it makes me wish that I played fighting games.
It makes me wish that like someone would give them some license shit. You know, like when they did like a Persona game and a Dragon Ball Z game. I want that for all of my favorite things, please.
All of my favorite things, just in
Yeah.
general. Like a
Oh, that's right.
A blanket
They got
statement.
Lucy coming. I forgot about that.
They need to do like a Final
Fuck,
Fantasy.
they're bringing Lucy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched the trailer for that.
I
Here,
have to
actually.
play it now.
Well, it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, I want them to do a Final Fantasy fighting game.
Oh,
This
Death
game-
of the Reprobate. Who's
This
making
game
this
also
again?
got a date. This game got a date in November.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Who's making this again?
The developer that makes this game, I guess.
Oh,
they're-
we don't know. This is the first.
Well,
this is the first game.
They've made a couple. No. They made a couple of games kind of like this before. It's just
My first
nothing
thought
we've
was
covered.
Obsidian because it made me think so much of
Pentiment.
Pentiment.
Yeah, but no.
But obviously that's not accurate.
it's
Oh
just
my god. Damn.
very short trailer.
Cool trailer though. Fuck. Man, you know what? Video games are cool.
They be cool.
Oh yeah, this was a surprise. I didn't realize this.
By the way, Carlos said, "Yo, I'm gonna bid on Behemoth," and I'm like, "I'm pretty sure you already have it, dog." He's like, "No,
Oh wait, I've seen it. This is
no, you haven't. This was just announced today. It's a
Yeah.
game called Behemoth, not the Behemoth. Also coming out this year. It's called Behemoth from the Behemoth.
okay. I'm about to say. So this is a game from the Behemoth.
Yes,
Okay, that's confusing as shit.
it is confusing. I think they're doing it to antagonize the game that's called the Behemoth, or that's coming out also next month in VR.
How dare you take our name?
I know, kind of. Right? I mean, it really kind of fucked up the SEO for this company.
Yeah.
Have they done anything since Pit People?
Yeah,
They
they,
did the,
actually did a new Alien Hominid game.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like an actual
the
new
shit?
game last year, I think.
Yeah.
No one played it, sadly.
Nightmare House, the original.
They just.
mod.
I literally just added this one.
What the hell is this?
I don't know. I just added.
This was a Half-Life 1 mod that got ported to Half-Life 2.
Yeah, I played this shit.
I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. free
yeah,
on Steam. I like free.
I mean, it's a mod, yeah. But this is getting like a full-on, full game release, which is
Cool.
what we're looking at right now.
Did you put Chronos on here? Did you put Chronos on here?
Oh no, I should add that.
You
I
should.
thought we watched that last. Oh, we didn't do.
No,
Go
we haven't
last
done
week.
we haven't done a podcast in like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Chronos. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about Chronos. Since Bloober's no longer making shitty games, according to somebody at Bloober.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. I wish them the best, but don't let that guy talk for your company again. I think maybe.
Cyberpunk? What the hell? I played a game that had a
Elatro
Cyberpunk
Binding of
mode.
Isaac. What the fuck?
Well, we'll never
My
see
God.
Nolan again.
I mean, it's just Balatro, but it is.
Yeah,
this
it's
is
just Elatro that looks like Binding
these
of
are-
Isaac. But yeah.
These are cool crossovers. Oh, it's Slay the Spire. I didn't even watch this either.
All right.
You'll never see me again.
The next
Wow,
one is
yeah.
gonna be Balatro and Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, the music. Oh, get shivers listening to Slay the Spire music.
Next one's gonna be Monster Train.
Jojo. Oh,
Fucking
Stardew Valley.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Holy shit, man! he
This
has
is
been
this is
busy.
hilarious. It's like he's collecting the indie Infinity Stones.
right?
And I think there's one more game he's collabing on.
Because it's gotta just be so fucking easy to do this for Balatro.
Probably.
It's right. It's like take the only other
Those
successful
four,
indie
at
games
least,
that can come out
for
anymore
now.
these days and do crossovers with him.
That's pretty badass, though.
And he's hinted that there's even more coming.
Is this the launch trailer?
Yeah, I've not watched this. I have not watched any of this. I've just been.
So I should probably get cracking on watching a summary video.
Nick, you do
of-
you, man. You know, you're the
just
one who
going
like
blind.
were so super mad at me when I tried to get you to admit that you just don't pop for sword and board like the rest, like me and
But
Crispy
you're
or whatever.
wrong. You're factually wrong about this.
Don't pop
For-
for it.
For me to say that you don't care about it as much as me, a fantasy nerd, or like Crispy, a fantasy nerd, is
Well, that's
factually
different.
true.
But
That's all I was saying.
But it's varying degrees. Like just because I'm not as into it
It's-
as you are, or
It's
because
the
there are
same
other
reason
things-
I told anime nerds that they should be afraid that you're playing Metaphor. Because you know what? You're going to like Metaphor, but they're
I
all going to
love
get
Metaphor.
Metaphor tattoos and call it their favorite game of all time, and you're going to give it like number 7 on your top 10.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's fine, but it does something to people. It does something to people, and you don't even realize it's happening, man.
But I don't understand what it is I'm doing.
It's basically abuse, Nicholas.
Shut the fuck up.
We're gatekeeping because we don't want you to say, yeah, it was pretty good.
We don't want you to hurt us, Nick.
But I feel
Like when you
y'all should
finished,
be
you finished Persona 3 and you were like, yeah, that was pretty good. I don't know if I'll ever play a Persona game ever again, but I
That's
guess that was
true.
pretty good. People are like, you know, naming their kids like Persona characters.
Yeah, people are weird about Dragon
Dude,
Age, just
like,
like
do you-
just like fucking Mass Effect. Like,
But you realize it goes like that's the way I am with Dexter. Like, but do you think I get like offended with somebody that's like, I watched Dexter and it was all right? Like, like
I think.
No, but I mean, if we're trying to make
it depends on how they
jokes on
feel.
a podcast,
You're internally
I mean,
offended. You're not going to put it
I
out there,
would-
but you're
okay.
upset.
I take your meaning, Nick. I would say that doesn't quite track because Dexter's such a like niche thing, and
Also,
like
I
just
think it does
generic
vary.
like fans.
not-
Like you just must be happy to have somebody else to talk to about it. You know,
Brad,
Like,
what is
I'm
that?
trying
You
to
piece of shit.
lose people to talk to this shit, about, like to talk to you about this shit. Like,
Brad, what is happening?
Look,
Great here.
we're
This was
watching
in the
Smurfs.
80s on OpenCritic, and people over in the Fantasy Critic Discord were losing their mind. They're like, why is this Smurf game getting 80s? I think it's dropped since then. But, so it got me to watch the trailer at least, and I was like, you know, this is all right.
I didn't even know there was a Smurf game.
Of course you fucking
oh
didn't.
yeah, what's the deal?
You
This
didn't
is
know
like,
there's more interesting games even.
the Smurf game's a sleeper hit or something.
There's literally never been a Smurfs game that scored higher than a 30
It
on
looks like a
Metacritic.
Mario.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Mario.
That's
It's
what I'm
100%
saying.
Mario.
Every Smurf game ever
Wow.
has been scored 32 or lower on Metacritic, probably.
What?
I mean, here's the thing. If you were going to make a game based on something like the Smurfs, it'd probably always be just a good idea just by default to
here's another
model it
question.
after Mario.
Who cares about the Smurfs? It's not
Nobody.
like Americans, right? There's got to be like some region of the world where the Smurfs are like their fucking Pokemon,
Still
right?
have cultural cachet.
It's got to be something insane, right? Like
Well,
in
it's like-
Brazil, Smurfs is bigger than Mario.
It's
Because I
like
don't.
Garfield or something, right? It's like the people who care about it are the people who own it.
My
Like,
question is,
they just
who is
have
the
steadily invested
developer
in it.
here?
I have no idea.
Because to thwart the infamous Gargamel's plan,
Just FYI, I see you, Prince of the Universe, saying that he's gonna name his daughter Hulkenberg.
so get ready now.
Hell yeah, dude.
Right
That's a good name. That's a good name.
the Smurfiest one.
Oh my god. This is a long ass trailer for the Smurfs.
It is
what
pretty long.
in the fuck? And it's called the Smurfs Dreams. What a
Microids.
terrible name.
Mm,
Okay, easy on the Smurfs game. Literally the best thing that's ever happened to them.
hey, our old friends from Finji.
This is a follow-up sort of to Wilmot's Warehouse, which I'm not sure how familiar. It was like indie game from like, I don't know, half a decade ago. That was pretty cool. It was like a vibey game where they were dropping off like packages at your warehouse and you had to like sort stuff based on rules that you're setting for yourself on the fly. Like, and the stuff keeps coming, so you're like, oh, I guess I'll put red shit over here, and then you start, oh, I guess I'll put fruit over here, but then you'll get like a red apple, and you're like, do I put it with the red shit or the fruit shit? Like, all I'm saying is, that was Wilmot's Warehouse. This is
Wilmot's Warehouse, but that reminds me of that traffic game, Mini Motorways.
Mini Motorway, sure.
Yeah, where you have a selection of stuff, and you're like, it makes sense to do it like this, and then all of a sudden you get something else. And it's like, fuck! Now this ruins my whole plan. Yeah.
All that's to say that this is a Wilmot's game, and like mechanically it's very similar, but this is actually a much more vibey like puzzle game, just a chill fucking let's put some puzzles together. And you know what? Like,
Is that a French astronaut?
it's kind of a nice vibe, really.
They do have a space program. It's true.
Yeah, but have they ever been to the moon?
Cat seems to like it. Let's put
I was describing the game that came out prior, not this game. This one's just make puzzles
Yeah.
and hang them and
something natural.
decorate your room, and
Yeah.
you know,
Let's go leopard.
it was pretty like.
I like it in this color.
I mean, granted, you might not have been.
Why
paying
does every indie game have the shining pattern for the carpet now?
Shaping up beautifully, Wilmot.
Well, that's true.
I mean, I hate to say it, it's not just
Recreate
indie
on
games. It's pretty much any
Dude,
place
it's
that has to
everything.
any
Someone
place that has to put down like a patterned carpet is like we're doing The Shining. It's just
was like, you know what carpet fucking slaps? That one's from The Shining. And
It does
it's
slap.
true. It's true.
This game also finally got a date.
It
Comes out in November. Yeah, November.
kind of felt for a while like it wasn't going to hit this year, but yeah.
gonna be
well,
sick or
I knew it was gonna come out because someone tweeted at them, like, "Yo, when's this game coming out?" And they responded and said, "Fall of this year," and that was like a couple of weeks ago. And I don't think the official account would be tweeting that the game was still coming out this year, this late, confidently,
Yeah.
unless
Yeah.
they actually had a
That
plan.
makes sense. Yeah.
this looks pretty cool though.
true, it does.
It does. It looks really cool, but finally has a date now, and I mean, I hope that it's really cool. I don't know if it will be, but if it is cool, that's awesome because this is a roguelike, and more roguelikes, like when a roguelike is awesome, that's potentially even more exciting than when just a single player game is awesome because you can maybe play it like for years, right? So I hope it actually kills. But man, that's like in a fucking 2 week.
We are the studio behind
so-
upcoming Tetris Forever, which is a collection of
Oh, I don't
some
know
of
what
the
this
best Tetris games.
I mean, I do know
of
what this
time,
is,
in
but
particular,
I
one game
hadn't
that's
watched this
brand
trailer.
new.
This is the guy
Tetris
talking about
Let's go
Tetris.
take a look at it.
Yeah,
We're
this is
basically
like
Digital
a-
Eclipse like
program on
kills
that.
with their fucking docu games or whatever.
Yeah.
And this might be
This is
their
going to be a
coolest.
collection of basically every version of Tetris that was released in the 80s and 90s, and that's a lot.
Tetris history and weave that in a meaningful.
Normally I would
but
say like
also
this is
in a
I don't
game
watch
design,
talking
make it
head
really
trailers,
fun
but
and
like
enjoyable.
the games
Yeah,
they
very
make
much kind of
are
the
like
whole
half
project
talking
is
heads,
it's an interactive documentary, and
like
here's
in
an
the
interactive
game,
bit of
because they're like
history
docu
with
games,
Tetris
and they're
Time
usually
Warp.
pretty cool. Anyways,
You
we
start
don't
off
have to watch
playing
this whole
modern
thing. How long is
Tetris.
this?
As you're playing the game, every time you level up, which is
It's-
clearing 10 lines.
Yeah,
you'll
yeah.
get
Skip
the
this shit.
special
Or
Time Warp Tetris
watch
line.
10 more
fuck
seconds.
that shit.
Yeah.
I think I have some
it's-
Star Citizen stuff
And
in
if you
here,
clear a
which
line,
maybe you could
time
skim
warp into
through,
that era.
so we can react.
Star Citizen. My God.
Yeah, that's a thing to talk about tonight.
I don't think Nick even knows.
About Star Citizen?
Yeah.
He missed Citizen Con. It's okay though.
I've been a little out of the loop for a week, so playing catch up. I'm surprised I even saw this.
Their second non-shitty game.
What exactly did that person say? Like, word,
He's
like
they're
not your like, lol. This is basically what he meant or what he said, that it's funny. But like, what did he?
No. It was
what did he
quote.
say?
That was like his quote. Shit, no longer making shitty games. But
Yes.
He said no longer making shitty games.
Yes.
Yeah, which is a super
Oh
bad,
yeah, that's
not a
bad.
cool thing to say.
that
To
guy's
throw your
probably have-
entire studio and their past works under the bus like that because you had a
That
remake
guy-
that did well.
There's no way that guy
It's ugly.
still has a job.
Well-
like that's holy
Well, he
shit.
does.
There's also been suggestions that was partly a reaction to like the controversy of the director for the Medium, how it might be that he's not a good person.
Oh, was he the one who?
No, he didn't say it, but this was him reacting to people talking about that kind of.
But it doesn't matter. That's still clown shit. You don't
It is.
throw your past, your
bad PR
history
move.
under the bus like that.
I'm just trying to provide context.
They're trying to instill confidence by saying that, but when I hear that, it makes me less confident in their future.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Can I just say though, like obviously this is the game where I think this is the one where they're actually going to be able to prove themselves, because Silent Hill 2 obviously had a framework, right?
Yes.
This is
It had bones for sure. But
yeah, it had bones, and this is something completely original from the ground up, with a budget that looks similar to Silent Hill 2. So we'll see what happens.
this shit looks.
We'll
cool,
talk
dude.
about it. Yeah. I'm into like everything about this trailer in terms of like imagery and atmosphere and just vibes. I'm into it.
This isn't related to like Kronos, the
No.
fucking Cronenberg, or
No.
no, the Del Toro, fucking Scarab movie. Is that Del Toro or Cronenberg? I get those confused.
Well, there's also the Gunfire game. Yeah, it's not related to that either.
Oh no, not that. It's a 1993 Guillermo del Toro movie, horror movie about a
Almosador
fucking
says Del Toro. Yeah.
fucking.
All right, are we about ready to get started?
Okay, what's this next one? Skip.
You could replay.
Oh no, skip that again. Again.
Is that really what they're going with? Title.
All right. Do you want to? Can you skim quickly find like cutscene stuff?
I mean, most of this is fucking cutscene. There's
No,
some,
skip a third in. Skip a third in.
Okay.
Scrub.
Rub it.
Is this the? This is the.
Oh, this is
this is
the
the
first
1
day
hour
presentation.
thing.
This isn't the good stuff.
Okay, never mind.
This is them talking about
So-
Star Citizen itself.
I grabbed the wrong thing.
Yeah, you grabbed the wrong.
Do you
thing.
see any cutscene stuff in here?
Is
Okay.
there anything
I
to
don't
indicate
remember.
this game is coming anytime soon?
Yes, they have published an estimated release year now.
Release year? What the?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
They are
2032.
saying it's Squadron 42 will be out 2026.
Oh my god.
But like,
Yeah.
there's like fucking Gary Oldman chewing scenery in this shit. It's weird. They got like
Yeah.
this crazy celeb cast, and it's wild.
It's
to
got
see that in action. I
A
grabbed the
hell
wrong
of a
thing.
cast, and like the video Brad probably meant to link is like
Yeah.
an hour and a half gameplay demo. And granted, a lot of it is cinematic, but it's fucking gorgeous.
Okay, but that doesn't mean much.
And
All
whose
right, are we
computer
ready
is gonna
to?
run that?
Are we
Yeah,
ready
skip
to
this
start?
question.
Yeah.
Brad,
is it
the
another-
computers that can run that don't exist yet.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It ain't gonna look much better than anything I'm playing now on my machine. All right. opening Audacity.
Are you gonna get Monster Hunter on PC, Nick?
Probably. I don't know.
Well, unless you're buying a Pro, which you probably shouldn't buy a Pro if you just bought a PC. But
My wife told me she'd give me $200 for my PS5.
Okay, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that. I've got questions. We're not going to get into it. That's
no, they don't have a shared bank account.
She doesn't have.
It doesn't even matter if they don't have a shared bank account. That is still unhinged.
We do have a shared bank
account.
Talk about. But we also have our own personal accounts. Like, come on.
Stop.
And the offshore account money.
Stop it.
And the offshore account.
And the account she doesn't know about.
I can't.
And the account he doesn't know about.
Fucking giving your wife a homie discount is unhinged.
No. We were talking about it the other day. No. We were talking about it the other day, and she was like, "Are you going to get a Pro?" And I was like, "I don't think so, unless GameStop is like, I'll give you $300 for my PS5 or something."
Will.
And she was like, "I know," but then she came up with, she's like, "I'll give you $200 for it," because she doesn't have a PlayStation right now. And I was like,
But okay. So many questions. But even $200 is still only getting you. It's a $700.
I know.
Wait, how much is it?
When she told me that, when she said that, she didn't know how much a PS5 Pro was, and I was like, good. After that, I'll still have to pay $500. And she was like, what?
That's not including the disk drive.
Oh my god, it doesn't include the fuck. No, I'm not getting rid of my disk drive. Not happening. Not fucking happening.
You buy the attachment. You buy the add-on.
Yeah, you have to buy the attachment.
$80 more.
So you're spending $800.
No. I have no intention of getting a Pro.
Sony's going to drop their price. They literally have to. Like, what are they thinking?
They're going to sell like 4 units.
Testing. Yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
No.
It's going to be ugly. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do my sound test real quick.
Definitely real quick to do.
Absolutely crazy.
Testing 1 2. Test. Check this real quick.
I mean, you got to think like it's the improvements they're showing are not even so crazy. I mean, and at the end of the day, the stuff that you're gonna want to play on a PlayStation Pro day and date that's not going to be on PC day and date is Sony first party. But I will say, as someone who never bought a PS4 Pro, the one games that were reliably still good on
were the first party
base model were first party games. Like Ghost of Tsushima 1 ran surprisingly well, loaded surprisingly fast for such a late PS4 base model game. So
which is why I'm gonna stick it out as long as I can. Like, I have no intention of upgrading. It was really just a funny conversation that I.
Well, I mean, there are people that don't have gaming PCs that maybe would consider it on like a good GameStop deal, but like, if you have the PC, like that's the thing. The PC you built just now probably is already more powerful than that Pro, right?
In theory.
Like from the shit that they're showing about it, it doesn't even look like that.
I mean,
big of a
I don't
jump.
know. My graphics card itself could probably use an update to like.
Oh, you didn't completely rebuild everything.
No. It was only a partial rebuild. Like added more RAM, got a new motherboard. Well, like this, I'm still using the same 3080 that I had.
Yeah.
I got you.
Or is it a
still pretty good?
I don't remember.
You're pretty good.
I have no intention of. I don't need to upgrade right now, but we'll wait and see what happens when.
Do you have a 4K monitor or is it a?
No, I have a 2K monitor.
Okay.
I might upgrade my monitor at some point.
You're fine with with 1440 or whatever. You're good with
I have no problem with the way my games look on PC, so I'm a happy boy.
But I will say, Monster Hunter on base PS5. I can't believe I have to say base PS5 already. This is so. They couldn't wait a year before they did this shit.
Is the PS cry?
Embarrassing.
Crispy, your background, it's so insensitive.
What? Oh, oddly apropos.
Hey,
was that hippie?
Yeah, she's enjoying a California cheeseburger.
After playing a lot of Party House, I'm like very pro hippie, man. They chill at the parties. so
Yeah.
so the cops don't get called.
Brad,
Yeah.
before we start, did you bring footage of 2 new games from UFO 50?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
that's right. I need to grab that real quick. Give me a second.
Oh, I'm glad I
Oh.
said something. Also, Crispy
Yeah.
brought Death Stranding footage.
I did grab that.
Okay.
He posted that earlier.
The UFO footage that I have has the date in it.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Pulling now. While I'm getting this
Be
set
right
up,
back.
We can second segment that. It's fine.
Brad, to me, you sounded a little bit blown out. Was that to anybody else?
Oh, here?
He did a little earlier, but he sounds
Yeah.
fine now, in my opinion.
He sounds fine now.
I was doing some shenanigans with my.
In that restaurant with all that shit on the walls.
Testing.
3. Okay, we should be good.
Guess I turned it down a tad in Discord. I want to do it. Let me ask y'all: is Vampire Survivor co-op online?
I would
Co-op?
assume so.
If it's not online, it might do that Steam online Steam couch thing, whatever it's called.
Yeah. They have like a remote play thing or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Well, Carlos was saying he wants to do that for a UFO 50 stream, and I think we're going to bring back Couch Potatoes because there's a lot of co-op games in co-op and versus games in UFO 50 that I really want to play. It is a game I wish I had like when I was in college and I had roommates, because oh man, some of those games.
That would be good.
Games. Oh my god.
You okay?
I'm just a long day.
Thanks.
I voted today.
As did I.
My
Nice.
sticker says
Early
voted,
voting has
y'all.
not started here yet.
I voted. I went to a Halloween concert at Henry School, a trunk or treat, a book fair, and dinner with my parents, and I recorded footage and
All
made
at
it to
once.
the podcast
Wow.
on time.
Damn, that's impressive. Are we ready?
And I took a shower.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Didn't want to say anything, but you kind of stink. Oh, God, sneak.
All right, I'm recording.
I too am recording.
Ditto.
I am recording.
When y'all are waiting in voting lines, do you like look for the people that are so obviously going to
Yes.
vote opposite of
Yes.
you, and you're like, I'm canceling that your vote, bitch?
But you
Yeah.
can't say it to all of them.
Yeah. Well, when I went, I didn't see any, but maybe it's just because it was like
what?
2 in the
I try to
afternoon.
pick out if there's anybody that's like that person's writing in like none of the like Republican or Democrat, but like the one guy who's there, it's like you're voting for Cornell West, aren't you? Like, yeah.
Oh man.
I know a Jill Steiner when I see him.
Crispy, are you recording?
I am.
Okay. Then roll call starts now. Brad.
Hello.
Nolan.
This is Nolan, and I am doing my roll call for the podcast.
Crispy.
Hello.
Chris Davis.
I'm going to.
Oh, God damn it. Shh, shh.
Hello,
Davis.
this is Chris speaking right now.
Okay. Now you can speak. Brad.
I gotta admit, I didn't read up on the propositions, and I was like, oh, I'll just figure it out when I'm there. And I,
You gotta read.
granted, this is Williamson County, and like the first half, I'm like, oh yeah, this sounds good, and then the second half, I'm like, okay,
Dude,
this is a single proposition. Like, wait a minute, actually, I can't choose. I don't know what I'm picking here. It sounded really good at first, and then I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, I want to hear the shittiest. I found out last week that my job, my building, the building that I work in, was going to be a voting
Yikes.
place. And I was like, fuck yeah, I don't have to do anything or go anywhere to vote. Wrong county.
Oh,
Still had to go somewhere else. So shitty.
of course.
Anyways, hey
Yeah,
everyone, welcome. Oh my god,
Sorry, I
false
didn't.
start.
I was just gonna say, yeah,
Is it for
go
Williamson
ahead,
County?
whatever. Yeah,
I'm not.
Williamson County.
No comment.
The wording confused me.
All right.
Are you about to like read out the proposition? Because he's about to start the podcast.
I've already tried starting the podcast
Oh.
once, and it was a false start. I hate you. I hate you so much. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 813 if Chris Davis is to be believed. Is that
true.
accurate? Okay, he's
It's
not.
factual.
Okay. Welcome to the show. My name's Nick Henderson. I'm your host this evening, joined as usual by Brad Simons,
So
Nolan Hedstrom,
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Christopher Guthridge,
Hello.
and Christopher Davis.
good evening.
And we are here to once again talk about video games. It feels like it's been like a month since we recorded a podcast. I know that's not accurate. It was actually like 2.5 weeks. But last week, was it last week? I guess last week, in lieu of a podcast, we hung out together and we played some Abiotic Factor.
how was that?
It was fun.
Really fun.
Dude, that game's pretty
It
fun.
was a lot of fun.
Although, did we ever? I can't remember. Did we ever end up turning on the spatial audio, the whatever you call it, or were we just using Discord the entire time? I think we were just using Discord the entire time.
Oh, the spatial audio is everything, right?
I know it makes those games so fucking
I
memorable.
think we meant to, but we just kind of got lost and had fun doing what we were doing, and we just never ended up turning it on.
Yeah, but still, a very cool experience. Something you might see more of on the feed in the future because I think we were having a good time with it. Yeah, so if you're interested, go check that out. It's in the Twitch archives, the VODs. You might even find some clips in our Discord at discord.gg/4player. But anyways, I think don't need to waste any time. It's
Halloween!
a week until Halloween. I'm going to see Smile 2 on Sunday. Ooh. Anybody? No? Nothing?
No.
Nah.
Ooh.
Is that a sequel to Smile?
Yes.
Smile was fine. I mean, when it comes on demand, I'll watch
I don't
it.
think I know. I don't think I know what Smile is.
It's Smile is like the is kind of like the it's like the I would call it the this is gonna sound condescending. It's like the cheaper It Follows. Like it's almost kind of
Okay,
it's
don't
almost
even say those in the same sentence. You know, I was rewatching
See,
the Babadook last night, and let me. You know what I noticed? There are like
What'd you notice?
filmmakers. There are like talented filmmakers who are like filmmakers first, and then they're like, I'm gonna make a horror movie. And then there are people who are like really into horror who make movies. And I know that sounds like super insulting. And
No,
I don't mean
that's
it to
a
be.
real thing.
there's a place for both. Like I mean,
but I know absolutely, and I love both. But like, what happens is when I watch something like the Babadook or whatever, or when I recently rewatched It
why do you
Follows,
keep saying it like that?
it kind of
Babadook.
blows me away. It's like it's so weird to see, or like Long Legs, even, right? Where it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, it's crazy to see a movie in this genre that is like made with like care and attention that you typically don't see often, and it kind of like blows me back a little bit.
Did I see that Christopher Nolan's next movie is like a vampire movie? Or is that I swear to God, I
Christopher
saw
Nolan
that.
is like another. He's
mean,
in another
I didn't see
bubble.
that.
You
But
know,
he is-
there's filmmakers,
You're right.
horror fans, and whatever the fuck Christopher Nolan is.
But like, it sounds like he's making a vampire-centered horror film next, and I don't know. I saw that somewhere, and I haven't seen it a lot, so I don't know if I was reading something that was factually true or not. Maybe somebody in chat can confirm.
Prince of the Universe says
Prince of the
yes,
Universe
it is
says
making it stars Tom Holland.
Horrifying plot rumor.
Tom Holland.
Movies don't
Interesting.
exist until I see a trailer.
But listen.
Weird
I do
news.
think you're giving Smile a little bit of the short end of the stick here because that first movie
No.
was surprisingly fun.
It is a great movie in this part of the Venn
Sure.
diagram. I'm
But-
saying
But I'm saying if you go look at like how Smile 2 is doing critically right now, apparently it is a much better sequel than the original. Like it is one of those where it's better than the original. I don't know if that means
it's
it's
pretty
being
common
if
even
it's
today
like-
in like that area. of
right. I
horror
don't know if it
movies.
means it's being elevated or if it's just doing the same thing but better. I don't know.
I
but-
mean, it's also like, you know, it's leaning positive on Rotten Tomatoes, certified fresh. But like, really, what are they
It's like
saying?
86% or something on Rotten Tomatoes.
But what is it on
good.
Metacritic, right? Like,
I don't know.
Rotten Tomatoes is a weird barometer for
Sure.
pleasing movies that are pleasing to watch.
Sure, but here's the thing: I can't keep going back and forth between Rotten Tomatoes and OpenCritic and Metacritic. So I use Rotten Tomatoes for film and I use OpenCritic for games, and I just let that.
Sure. So
just let that-
stick to Rotten Tomatoes. That's fine for movies, at least. TV is trash, I think. And look at the scores. You know, if you're really trying to like get a sense of if Smile 2 is cinema or not, you know.
I don't know. The point
I don't
is,
know.
I'm pretty stoked to see it. Also, I
It
got
stars
tickets.
Jasmine
Yeah.
from Aladdin.
I also got tickets to go see Heretic, which is not until first week of November.
What is
The
Heretic?
one with Hugh Grant. Where man, you should check out the trailer for that. It looks pretty cool. That looks like that could be cinema.
Hugh Grant, huh?
Yeah, Hugh Grant is like a crazy villain. You should go check it out. I'm into it.
I've seen 3 movies since last time we talked. You
Which
tell me which
are?
one's the best. I watched Cuckoo.
Great.
I
love
watched
that
Cuckoo.
movie.
That movie is insane.
Fucking love that movie.
It's pretty good.
Nick
I
loves
watched
Cuckoo.
I love Cuckoo.
watched,
That kind of blows me back.
Love Lies Bleeding.
Oh,
Not
that
seen
one's
that. Is that the one where the ladies, the rest of
The girl from The
the
Mandalorian and Kristen Stewart are like
yes,
lesbian
Gotcha.
lovers.
She's from
Yeah.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Who from The Mandalorian?
Yeah, she's that like weird imperial chick from The Mandalorian.
I
but
guess I didn't watch that
not
far.
the toxic one that got fired.
Yeah,
not
I only
whatever her
watched
name
this
is.
far enough to see her. I guess.
No.
I'm
Okay,
clarifying.
continue.
I know she's
Nah,
not. I'm just saying
yeah.
she's not.
Love
not
Lies
one.
Bleeding is cool.
Love Lies Bleeding was really cool. And Hundreds of Beavers.
I don't know
What
that.
the fuck? I have no idea. That's porn, sir.
You should. I mean, if you trust me at all,
Is that on one of
you
the
should
sites where you
just
have to
go
log
to
in now?
Amazon Video and just start watching it, and don't even like watch a trailer. Just go, and just like
Okay.
trust me.
Okay. As long as I don't have to log in.
If you do have to log in, go to Tubi and watch it.
No one probably has no idea what we're talking about.
No.
He's no longer a Texan.
I'm texting. I have no
Wait,
what you're
you're
talking
talking
about.
Oh,
You got to
know what
log
I
into
watched?
Pornhub now.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
laws, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, I
I
thought
did-
you
I
just
did
couldn't
s-
access Pornhub without
I don't
a
know.
VPN.
I don't know.
Like you can't get to it without a VPN now.
Wow.
They
I
like
did the
they
research.
won't certainly. Yeah, they
I don't
like
know.
block
I'm
Texas.
like, this is too confusing. I'm finding another site.
Save us,
So here's
Nolan.
something.
I'm going
here's
back to the Sears catalog.
in the spirit of Halloween, I finally watched for the first time in my life A Nightmare on Elm Street. And
I don't
think
want to talk about this.
I think I missed the boat, guys. I think I missed the
You can't
boat.
miss the boat.
Nick. No,
Yeah.
Nick.
He expected it to be cinema.
Nick.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's.
I
Okay.
mean, I'm not. Look,
I mean,
yeah.
What Brad is saying is absolutely true. Like, it's just like a fucking genre film, you know, from the 80s. It's like,
Right.
if it isn't speaking a language that you're vibing with, there's not going to be a lot
Yeah.
to appreciate as a
It's not The
cinephile,
Shining. It's not
you
The
know?
Exorcist. It was
I
never
know,
that.
I know.
But like,
But you're
let me
talking to
explain something. Let me explain something.
you're talking to like I love slashers and I love Wes
yeah,
Craven.
but like
I'm just-
that was like a pivot kind of like that was like Terrifier doesn't exist without Robert Englund's Freddy Krueger.
Sure.
I don't think, right?
Sure.
And that's fine. I mean, I'm not really that into like Terrifier, but like I like Nightmare on Elm Street because of like Nightmare on Elm Street like 3 and 4 and stuff where it gets like crazy and it's like teenagers with powers and shit.
Chai Tai,
And like
Chai
if
Tai-
you don't get to that point, then it's like
You're right.
It's like I mean, if
And-
you don't
and
even like the first one, I guess that's fine.
I'm not
but,
even
like,
sitting here
the
saying I
vibe
didn't.
change.
I don't think it's a bad film. I don't think it's a bad. It just wasn't for me. But like Chai Tai, because I know you gave me your like what you told me I should do. Chai Tai convinced me that for me, as like the person who was introduced to Wes Craven through Scream and has loved that franchise since 1996, he told me as the bridge between A Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream to watch the first Nightmare on Elm Street, watch A New Nightmare,
No.
and then let that
You
be
need to
that,
bounce
let that be
completely.
it.
There's Chai Tai.
Let that
That's
be
a
it.
bad take. There's zero chance you're gonna like or care about New Nightmare. I promise you. That's
Why?
like
It
a
sounds
super meta movie for
dude,
people who love Nightmare on Elm Street.
That is the bridge. That's what makes it the bridge.
But you
to
don't
Scream.
love Nightmare on Elm Street. It
But I
was
love-
exciting for Nightmare on Elm Street fans. Like the
But
meta
I
is
get-
not
but
gonna
I-
work.
Well, I mean,
Also, that movie doesn't hold up as well. Like something that is super like campy Freddy, like Nightmare on Elm Street 3, 4, 5, or whatever, holds up way better than New Nightmare, which is like it like was meta, but it was also taking itself seriously and trying to be a little more scary. But like you feel the time period that it came out more watching that movie. It doesn't hold up, I promise. And it gets really stupid towards the end anyways. And you're going to be so confused because there's like lore that you're not going to be up on. I don't think it holds up.
You should try Hellraiser, Nick.
If you really didn't enjoy the
I
first
have never
movie
seen
at all,
Hellraiser either.
You should watch Hellraiser.
But I've always thought Hellraiser looked kind of dumb. But I do.
Yeah.
I know.
Dude, I don't know. It's like a puzzle box that opens a portal to hell, and sex demons torture you to death and rip your skin off.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of cool.
But a lot of these horror movies had sequels that don't hold up, like in any respect. Like there are Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween movies or whatever that are like absolutely fucking trash. Like literally no one enjoys this film. Like Nightmare on Elm Street has maybe some dicey entry, like a couple of dicey entries, but like it's pretty consistent, like fun all the way through, honestly. And that is not true for a lot of 80s horror. It's just simply
I don't want to get too far into, because I do like plenty of 80s horror, and I like a lot of 80s slasher films and whatnot. And I'm not even saying Nightmare on Elm Street is bad or anything, but I will say this: the thought I had multiple times while watching this movie was, this is a weird fucking movie. Just like the flow of it and the way like some of the dialogue
the writing and the acting was suspect. Which in an 80s horror film is a crazy take.
Okay, first of all, I wasn't trying to comment on the writing and the acting. I know.
You know what's happening right now, right? It's that same thing we were talking about when we were talking about Dragon Age. Like, you stumbled into a Dragon Age, okay?
Good segue.
Yeah.
Good segue. Can we talk for just a real quick second that I didn't even think about the fact that we are like a week away from the release. Sorry, is it more than a week, Nolan? I just saw Nolan.
It's exactly one. If it's the 31st, it's exactly 1 week.
That's
Come
crazy.
on, baby, give me a miracle.
That's crazy. I think it's gonna happen.
Dude, what if it gets like 120 on OpenCritic?
You'd win.
Maybe I'll be in contention. Maybe I'll still like be able to win.
Yeah,
Look, honestly, Fantasy Critic is getting a little awkward, and I want to talk to Nick about it specifically later.
What? Why are you?
Because I feel like this man's throwing in the towel a little bit, and I want to find out what happened with that trade that went bad. No, Nick.
No, he thinks I'm throwing in the towel.
He's got 3 slots.
The reality is, I proposed 2 trades. They were both rejected, and then I went on a vacation, and I just haven't really been paying much attention to it.
Okay, well, now's the time to pay attention.
Well, I know, but
remember, we have a second place.
I know. I'm not throwing in the towel, you bitch. I'm not throwing in the towel. But hey, look, I'm also kind of like, I feel like I'm just gonna have to take the goose egg on the 3rd slot, because I don't think anybody's gonna give me the
trade. Didn't look rejected. It looked like it was vetoed by somebody.
I filled my list. I'm out of fucking bidding.
Yeah,
I was literally offering somebody. I mean, my trade was basically, here, take one of my 10-point games and give me like $8 or something.
Yeah, you don't need much money.
I don't need much money. I just need. I have
except Carlos, and he's.
I have 3 slots and $2. So.
But trade can still happen. I don't understand why it can't happen. You're running out of people to do it with.
I know, and I'm like,
here's the thing, and again, we don't talk about Fantasy Critic later. We don't. But I want to do something.
This is our Fantasy Critic talk for the.
I want to do something. So, like, if you've been following, I have a like really commanding lead. Okay, meaning
all right, motherfucker.
I don't need to drop Silk Song. Like, I can have a 70 for Silk Song, and it doesn't matter if you do the math. The thing is,
bitch.
I might be willing to part with Silk Song if somebody wants to go for a Hail Mary, only because that's kind of interesting. Because you might be picking up like a goose egg, right? But because I don't think I need it. But if it does drop at like the Game Awards or something, like all of a sudden, boom, you get 30 points.
What if I gave
crazy?
You?
It's
what
spicy.
If I gave you $1 for Hollow Knight and like $5? Like.
I don't even have $5.
If you,
I don't even know if that makes sense.
Trade, If you accept that trade, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking
No,
nuts.
no,
I'm gonna drive to
do
your
the
house
math.
and punch you in the nuts.
Do the math. I do not need Silksong. It's more interesting being in the hands of somebody who could actually like turn the tables for it.
Okay,
And
well,
like that might be screwing myself, but it feels
You should trade.
Like,
you should trade Silk Song
it
for
feels dramatic.
for one of Chris Davis's goose eggs. Like
Well, I don't
Metal
want to do
Gear.
that.
Like Donkey Kong.
I don't want to do an obvious dumb
well, I
trade.
dropped Donkey Kong.
With like metaphor, a 93 on OpenCritic for 50 cents, like earlier in the year. But whatever, we should move on. Sorry.
yes. All right.
I'm
Anyway,
thinking about it.
let's
I'm saying I'm
get
thinking
back to it. Look,
Can I
it's
just
been
say
a couple weeks.
I'm surprised that y'all let me take Anton Blast. I'm kind of surprised by that.
No one has any slots left. Chris Davis.
Nick has 3. Carlos has 2.
But I also haven't been paying attention
He has
to
$2. What is
I
he?
have-
How is he going to buy that for you? From you?
I spent
Look.
$2 on it.
But Chris Davis.
Yeah.
Chris
And if I
Davis.
spent $2, which is all I have, I wouldn't have gotten it because I have a points lead. You would have
Chris
gotten it.
Davis. It's not that I wouldn't have tried to like outbid you on that. Or, I mean, I couldn't have with $2. But what I'm saying is, again, haven't been paying attention. Been out of town. I know there was a fuck ton of like bids that went in. I'm almost kind of like waiting for everybody to just fill up their list, and then I can just bid on whatever the fuck I want after that.
I was getting really anxious about y'all having so many empty slots. Every single one of those bids that week, I introduced, I'm pretty sure.
You piece of shit.
Knowing that I only had one slot, I was just tired of
You were
people
trying
not
to-
bidding on games.
You were trying to bait me, and I wasn't even looking.
No,
So-
it's not bait. All of those games that I bid on are strong
It was a-
pickups.
it was a
They're all
shakeup.
strong pickups.
Okay,
I was tired of people having empty slots.
It was a change up.
Brad.
Anyways,
Don't
yeah.
worry. It'll all work out. It'll all work out in the end. Anyways, stay tuned. If you're interested in following along, not to mention we have 4 community leagues going at simultaneously, and this is just another reason y'all should be hanging out in our Discord at discord.gg/4player. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. It's been 2 weeks or more since our last show. There's a lot of ground to cover. We're gonna talk about stuff. So I'm gonna go in a weird direction tonight because Crispy.
You always want to start with me.
I mean, yeah,
No,
I
it's
do.
Great. That's great. No,
Crispy
that's
has
fine.
been
That's great.
playing a game
Wait,
from
wait.
2019.
Can you guess? Can you guess from my background what game I've been playing?
Okay. I mean, I can. I teased it in the Discord. Like people know we're talking about this game in some
Everybody
capacity,
knows, yeah.
but I now get the joke.
Simpsons Hit and Run.
I didn't. Yeah, Simpsons. I didn't get it until after I.
For people listening at
Selected the
home, it's a
background.
Simpsons character. It's a hippie from The Simpsons eating a sandwich with a baby in it.
California cheeseburger. I have been playing and finished
Mm.
Death Stranding.
Finished?
the
Yeah, dude.
director's
Last
cut.
week he was like
Dude,
30
you've
hours
been
deep
in it.
into it. So, yeah.
I
You've been in a hole.
lost myself in it. Yeah, I.
Good. That's the
Well,
only way to play that game is to get
you
lost
know-
in it.
Yeah, and you know, I've found myself with an excess of free time lately, and feelings of melancholy and impending
Mhm.
dread. So this was the perfect game.
Perfect
It
for
was-
that.
It was such a vibe. It
Not
was
wrong.
such a mood.
Did you finish? Did you build the cross country zip line? Did you try and do it?
I didn't. I gave up on zip lines after I got over the mountains. So,
Wow, dude, I was obsessed with making zip lines.
I
Me
put
too.
up a lot of zip lines. I put zip lines all over the mountains at Mountain Knot City. Like that whole western part of the mountain range is covered in zip lines. But what I got really obsessed with, like I'm pretty sure I spent at least 10 hours just on trucking around materials just to build the roads, to build the highways.
Mhm.
And I didn't even finish necessarily. Like there's one stretch that goes through the mountains that I didn't finish. You can actually see right here what I did not
Yeah.
finish. There's a stretch through the mountains, and then there's a stretch between Mountain Knot City and the Mountain Knot City Distro Center that I didn't finish. Great way to start this conversation for people who aren't familiar with the game.
Can you in like 2 sentences tell us what Death Stranding is?
No, I can't.
No, you
It's
can't.
Weird.
One
It's
sentence,
like
one
it's like
word.
a poetic, melancholy logistics action game.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, it's really weird. You play a porter in a post-apocalyptic America who is trying to reconnect disparate cities and
People.
bunkers to a giant internet, basically called the chiral network. That is
Starlink.
essentially it's the afterlife, and then people were like, "Hey, we could move data through this," and they turned it into an internet.
I have never heard anybody try to explain it like that, and now my brain is
It's
going in a
so
million different
wild.
directions.
It's so weird. Like what the Death Stranding is, and like the conditions of this world, like BTs and Dooms and Repatriates and like all these weird concepts that Kojima just throws out there. I mean, essentially the thing that makes the world post-apocalyptic, despite the fact that they obviously have like advanced technology, is that like death doesn't work properly anymore. Like basically something happened that brought the worlds of the dead and the living too close together, and there's like this intermediate area between them called the beach that is supposed to be a transitional place where souls move on to the next world. But because they're overlapping so much, the beach is now like an entryway for spirits to come back, or for, more importantly, spirits of people who like just died. Like they don't move on automatically. They kind of linger.
Purgatory.
Yeah, and they become these things called BTs, or beached things.
That's what BT stand for? Did I just miss that, or I forget it?
Yeah, beached
You know,
things.
also, spoiler alert, Death Stranding 2
Hey!
is called... No, it's not a real spoiler. Calm the fuck down. Death Stranding 2 is called Death Stranding 2, The Beach.
On the beach, I think.
On the
Yeah.
beach. Is it on the beach?
Yeah.
On the beach?
Something
The
like
beach.
that, yeah.
It's featured prominently in the title of Death Stranding 2. That's all I'm saying.
The beach.
Yeah. Yeah, which like I went back and watched the announcement and like all the trailers for Death Stranding 2, and I'm like crazy excited now.
With context now?
I'm crazy excited for that game because
So
this
is
game
Hideo
was...
Kojima still a genius? Is this
Yes, I don't know. Like, okay, I don't like. Yes, I don't know. Yeah, like there's.
This is cinema.
You know, say like if you don't want, if you're like tired of glazing Hideo Kojima, like just say Koji Pro are amazing.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
they made this like crazy incredible game.
It's also a technical like kind of
really-
masterpiece.
it's-
like
it
so
is
It's pretty
fucking
good.
beautiful. Oh, but the thing I was saying before about why death doesn't work, and like the beach and the BTs, basically it means that like any person who dies like basically becomes an antimatter bomb, like a nuke that can go off in 48 hours. So like if somebody, like in the very beginning of the game, there's like an incident where like they're like, "Hey, we need you to make a delivery really quickly. This person committed suicide and we only just found their body and it's been almost 2 days, and you have to like go burn it before it
So it's like
wipes out the
hiking up a
entire
mountain
city."
while carrying this.
Yeah,
corpse
they
on
have
your
these
back.
incinerators. They have these incinerator stations like up in the mountains away from the cities, where they can burn bodies. It's like really important that you burn dead bodies, or else the soul tries to like attack living people. And when that happens, because the dead souls, the BTs, are made of antimatter, they cause an annihilation between matter and antimatter, and it's like a fucking nuclear
Isn't it your
bomb
mom?
going off.
I played 30 minutes of this game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Oh my god, Brad! I keep forgetting that.
Yeah,
But, like-
you just need, I don't know. Yeah, I don't like. It's such a meditative experience for a lot of it. Like some of it is stressful, and some of it is crunchy a little bit. But the vast majority of it is like really meditative. And
It's also
the
a vibe
tone-
unlike anything I've ever played before.
Yeah, the tone, the vibe is incredible.
Yeah,
It
but then
has
the
that-
sequel has like the dude playing guitar. Like, that's not
Dude,
a vibe?
this game has shit like that.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this game has weird shit like that.
In
Like
fact-
that is not like out of place to
The
me
guy
at all.
playing the guitar, isn't that Troy Baker, who is also
he's
in
one of
this
the bad
game?
guys in this game. Yeah,
Yeah.
So like,
Um,
When did this game come out? 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
2019. Yeah, and then this is the director's cut. The footage, just to give you some context for what you're watching. I'm like I'm just hanging out in the open world and I'm attacking a terrorist camp and I'm killing all the terrorists, and you'll see like in the game, in the mechanics, yeah, like when you kill somebody, there's like it's like a problem. It's like a big deal. It's like, okay, you got to get rid of these bodies, because what ends up happening is they eventually start spawning BTs, and like those BTs will attack actual NPCs in the world, because there's like porters walking around everywhere. They'll attack people. And if that happens, no matter where you are in the game or what's happening, when that occurs, it'll give you a game over. So like you have to take these bodies up to an incinerator in the mountains and burn them. So, and I hadn't ever done that. I like killed one person on accident the whole time I was playing. Um, and this is after I finished the story, and I'm just kind of messing around in the open world for footage. So I was like, I'm just gonna go kill a bunch of people, and I and that's what I did, just to see. I wanted to see if the incinerator could like burn all of them at the same time, or like what would happen if it looked different. Like I don't know, but um, it was fun. It was kind of cool.
Can't you actually create a nuclear explosion, basically?
A void out, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that, it'll just give you a game over. But that's what happens. But I was reading up on this, and apparently, that like because it simulates that whole thing. Like in game time, in 48 hours, wherever the body is, it'll spawn a new BT, and if that BT is close enough to any other NPCs that it can attack them, it triggers a game over. But there's plenty of places on the map where you can dump dead bodies, where the BTs that they make will not be like near anybody. So like apparently there's people who figured out ways to like make BT farms where they'll just like kill people and cart all their corpses up to like some open area in the mountains and just like create their own area with like all these ghosts floating around that they can then kill for like there's a element called chiralium that you get from them that you use to build shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Wild. Like this isn't really like one of those games that it's not Satisfactory or Factorio or whatever. It's not a game that you can just like completely automate processes and shit like that, but there is like an element of like crunchiness to how it handles equipment and like cargo and like transporting shit. Like it's really cool. I don't know. I always kind of figured that, I knew this game was kind of not controversial.
I don't even know if it's controversial. I think it is
very divisive upon release.
It was
Since the director's cut, people have become like kind of come around on it. I think maybe a little bit more, but
there were definitely. I mean, I remember the support being pretty split at the time, where like some people really vibed with what was going on, and some people didn't.
Like me.
Because it's not a shooter. I mean, like it's funny.
It's not. You can do a lot of shooting if you want, but it's not really what the game.
I mean, the core, like the central loop of the game, or maybe not loop of the game, but like the central mechanic of the game is actually delivering packages and building infrastructure. Right. So like trying to see how, like trying to Tetris as much shit onto your back and see if you can carry it across open landscape. Not drop it is the fun of the game, and some people just don't.
Navigating the world, is like the puzzle. Even
and I think some people find that's just too abrasive, or they're like, "This is just too frustrating," and it's like, but it's
because he made like the most expensive Bennett Foddy game ever.
It is kind of. I mean, I don't think it's as intentionally obtuse as that. Getting over it with Bennett Foddy, but I see like. It is that kind of like mentality of this is supposed to be an experience, clearly this game is like about the journey, not the destination, as it were.
But the destination is wild. Still,
Yeah, I mean the
journey and the destination are both pretty wild.
The story that it tells, I mean, we know that like the central metaphor of the game is all about like connection, right? It's about the ties that bind, right?
The strands.
The strands, yes.
They weave that into any aspect of the game that they can find, and they talk about it a lot. And a lot of what Sam's like personal journey is like I don't remember what they call it. He has a phobia of like people touching him, Like he doesn't want to talk to people. He doesn't like people touching him. He doesn't like people being near him. And then like, the game is about him like learning to like people, I guess, you know, like and forming a bond with BB, with
BB.
Lou. He ends
Yep.
up naming it Lou.
Yeah.
And just like what, you know, like all of that is going on in the background of the main objective, which is like he's not just spreading this network and trying to cross the country just for the hell of it or just because he was like told to. He's trying to do it because on the other side of the country is his like adopted sister, who is essentially the one in charge of all of this, but she's like being held captive, and he sets off on this mission.
Which
Specifically
Hollywood
because he wants to
actress that he's
register.
obsessed with was cast in that role?
Oh, it is somebody.
It's what's her name
She's
from
from
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Capricorn,
Leah
that's her name.
Seydoux is in it, but I don't know that's not the character you're talking about.
Yeah. No, Leah Seydoux or whatever plays Fragile, who's like one of Sam's like allies. She runs like another delivery service.
Do you think Death Stranding's a better vehicle for like Kojima's bullshit than Metal Gear Solid was? Like, do you think Quiet would have worked better in this than it did in Metal Gear Solid? She did in Metal Gear Solid 5, where it was just kind of
I
weird.
don't think this is as pulpy as Metal Gear Solid is.
Yeah. Okay.
In general, like Metal Gear Solid, for all of its earnestness, like definitely has like pulp to it. This game definitely has like a lot of the weird, like I don't know, like it has that like quirkiness and that character that like every Metal Gear Solid game has had. It's just maybe not as explicitly pulpy, but I don't know that this is a better vehicle per se.
I don't even know if those two things should really be.
I think what I think is that like it is a very like there's a couple different things going on. It's very strange. It's also like got a lot of elements that taken individually are pretty like silly, but it's all put together in a really like skillful way, and it's very sincere about what it is. Like it doesn't
takes
shy
itself
away.
pretty seriously.
It takes itself seriously to I mean, like it takes itself seriously enough that you're willing to suspend disbelief and like believe and like play along with it, and it maintains that very well. I think Metal Gear has always done a really good job of that, but I think this has less of a juvenile tone than some Metal Gear has. You know what I mean?
I would say that Metal Gear inserts a lot of juvenile humor that maybe some people find misplaced, and this game doesn't do it as much. Don't get me wrong; you have your pee grenades and stuff like that, your pee and poop grenades.
Yeah,
I forgot
about those. You're slamming back Monster Energy.
Yeah, not anymore. In the director's cut, they had to remove the monster.
No.
Now it's just Bridges. Now it's just Bridges energy.
No.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
that's so much less cool.
Yeah, unfortunately. But
there is less of the kind of like it does take it. There's a more serious tone to what's going on.
Also, I think
sure.
Metal Gear Solid has always like it has these kind of like strange like Kojima's like strange avenues that he goes down and for storytelling and characters and stuff. It has those obviously, but they're not as obvious right out of the gate. Like you have to really kind of sink your teeth into a Metal Gear Solid game before some of the weirder shit starts to bubble to the surface. Like it's when you first start playing, it seems very kind of like serious espionage, like Cold War shit, which is obviously accurate. But then it starts to like hit you with these really over the top characters and like goofy, pulpy moments. This game is just like right out of the gate, it's asking you to buy into some serious weird shit.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I hope
it works.
Kojima horror thing is.
I was trying to remember the other day. What is that called?
E.T.
He's got multiple, right?
The project with Jordan Peele that he's working on now.
Oh.
They announced the title, and I've completely forgotten what it is at this point. Because I was like, isn't it called Nope? Nope, that's the movie. I was like, wait, now I'm just naming Overdose.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Dano and chat.
That's right.
Such a bad name.
Overdose.
I don't like that.
Yeah, and I will say, like, this feels like a slight against Metal Gear, and I don't mean it that way, but I feel like this story is also much more like intimate and human than anything from Metal Gear Solid. And I say that as a Metal Gear Solid fan. I think that the storytelling in Metal, except for maybe 5, has been incredible.
Man,
everybody keeps throwing
But
5 under the
they're
bus.
all no, I let me tell you something.
Gameplay's
I
good.
installed 5 and this at the same time and was
Oh,
like,
wow.
which one should I play? And I just started playing Death Stranding. Now that I finished it, I really want to go play 5 again. Like
5
5
plays
is
like
so
a dream.
good. 5
Like-
is so good.
like even if the story is kind of like an afterthought or whatever, like I remember the gameplay being fucking sick, and like
Yeah.
the gameplay of this is really sick. But this is a more intimate kind of like humanistic personal story. It doesn't. It has those big stakes that like a Metal Gear story has, where it's like literally the fate of the world, But well, yeah, I don't know. I don't
Is
know.
Kojima
Man.
okay?
I need to think more
Is
about this.
Kojima okay?
You know how
Dude,
what you
he's
say
doing
is
better than any of us.
okay
Like,
because like you play a Nier game and you're like Yoko Taro is not okay. He's not okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but you said this one's kind of like melancholy. I mean, it's
Oh,
post-apocalyptic.
I definitely think
you know.
it. I think the central trajectory of the story and of like the themes of the game are hope, right? Because it's not just like the world is fucked, and like they kind of keep telling you like the world is fucked, and its end is inevitable. Like like the fuckery is only gonna keep continuing. But it's about like struggling to build something better in the face of that, right? Like
Yes.
it is
Hopeful. I mean, that's hopeful.
interminably hopeful, right?
Okay.
Like
Something else just popped into my head, and I must ask. And the reason I'm asking a lot is because I do intend to play this before the sequel comes out.
Yeah.
A lot of what I heard about that game upon release was that it was kind of players working together. People were liking stuff that you did and putting ladders in places that were like, oh, this is great. There's a ladder here. Is that different now?
I had this exact concern before I started playing. I did not know to what extent that functionality still worked. And I will tell you something. I don't know if it's just because it's on Steam or what, but like there's a shit ton of it. Like most of the structures you see that I'm driving by that aren't like the distro centers or the incinerator I'm coming up to, that are like the player built structures, were built by other players, not me. That stuff is very present. There seems to be a lot of people engaged, like playing the game, or
Especially now
like
that the sequel's coming.
it
That
just
probably
has.
helps.
Yeah, it just has a bunch of.
I mean, it was a very
yeah.
successful game. I guess.
I would be curious as to whether any of our structures from 2019 are still there if we were to pop up the game back in.
Oh, I have no idea.
doubt it.
I think there's
Yeah,
so
I don't
many. There's so much shit now that it's like. I don't like. I don't think it's one persistent game world that everybody who's ever played the game has contributed to.
Well,
I think it's.
That's
I
not
don't think that
necessarily
could be
what I mean.
possible.
What I more mean
I mean,
is
there's
that like
812 people playing on Steam.
Like if
And-
you went back and loaded your game, would you have likes from people who like used your structures since?
well, no, what
I
I'm
wouldn't be surprised.
what I'm more talking about is the fact that every structure that you build in the game eventually degrades over time.
Yeah.
So like
Because
That is
of
true.
time fall.
Other people can repair it, right? Can't they?
They
like,
can.
repair your stuff.
If
Oh,
it's
that's the
particularly-
other-
if it's very
I think-
useful.
like that's the other thing too, is like it's not just walking and shit. Like you have to deal with stuff like time fall, which is incredible. I didn't even mention
Yeah.
that. The rain in Death Stranding ages everything it touches. Like it'll kill you if you get caught out in it because you'll die of old age. It's fucked. It is fucked up. It is so fucked up.
I'm so excited for the sequel.
Dude, I
What's the
finished
sequel need
I
to do?
finished this game this
that's
morning.
a dumb question. It's gonna be wild.
I finished this
I don't
game.
I don't think anyone can even know the answer to that, Brad, because it's going to be weird as shit, and nobody's going to see half of it coming.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I think we know what the main like narrative focus is going to be now.
I meant more gameplay actually.
The trailer I think sets up what like Sam's central quest is.
They've shown a lot of story, but I mean, is it going to be like kind of back to zero, and you're going to be like walking everywhere for a while and all that jazz?
I have a feeling he's gonna find he's gonna find an interesting way to kind of like start you kind of where this game ends and then build upon it in terms of like infrastructure and traversal. That's my guess. I mean,
I feel like they got to go back a little.
Well, you're going to different parts of the world in the second one. Like
So
this is all the United States. You start. I think in the trailer they mentioned you're definitely going to be in Mexico, and then I think the majority of the game takes place in Europe.
Yeah.
So you're doing all of this like in new territory, and we don't know anything about what the rest of the world is like. We have no idea what's going on anywhere.
And do I want to replay this before 2 comes out?
Sam is
I had the same thought.
Sam is the main character in the second one. Yes,
you're the one to do it, Nolan.
Also, oh god, I had something and I just lost it. Sam. And oh yeah, the trailer also kind of implies that like the next game is going to be a bit more actiony and a bit more like combat focused.
Yeah,
because there's that part in the trailer where Higgs has Sam like captured, and he like takes his rifle and he's like, "Oh, you traded in your rope for a stick this time." Like,
they're probably gonna try and bridge the gap between Metal Gear a little bit more to like bring those people who weren't necessarily on board.
I mean, one of the biggest things about the director's cut marketing was that they were showing off a dedicated level that was pretty much all about Metal Gear inspired combat
And stealth too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
like it was in a warehouse with a bunch of boxes. If that tells
I think
you.
I think Death Stranding 2 is all about closing the gap between these two franchises.
If this game, picks up a little bit more of that Metal Gear-ness, I will not complain at all. I do hope that it maintains its heart and its identity, which I think it
vibe.
Will. I mean, the trailers, that first like announcement trailer, that like 9-minute announcement trailer is already so like, yeah, let's do it. I'm fucking ready.
Fucking in.
I'm
man.
so fucking ready, dude.
I'm just so impressed that all the stuff they've shown so far hasn't been like weirdly self-indulgent or anything. It's so strange for a Hideo Kojima game.
I mean,
I'm kidding. You know, I would love a regular ass trailer not made by Hideo Kojima or cut by Kojima. I want like fucking somebody at Sony or whatever to cut
you want a marketing
trailer.
person to cut a trailer for this game?
I crave a normal ass trailer for a Kojima game.
I feel like I would want to see that purely because I'm curious.
As someone who didn't play that first game, you can't watch this shit. It's insane. It's like a trailer is like 12 minutes long and 90% cutscenes, and it's not. Who are they selling that game to? Because it's not anyone who didn't play the first game. It's crazy.
Yeah,
all right, we'll see what happens.
I don't know, man. And George Miller is in the new one.
Oh yeah.
That's fucking cool.
He's gotta have someone
continuing his trend of having like film directors he likes, like genre filmmakers. Like that's so. Guillermo del Toro's character, Deadman, is amazing. I love him.
He's great. The character is great for sure.
I mean, all the characters are incredible. I love them.
I think my favorite parts of the game were the levels with Mads Mikkelsen. I can never
Mads
remember.
Mikkelsen,
yeah, the war kind of like
the battlefields.
Like the battlefields. Yeah,
it's just such a surreal take. Just transition from the base gameplay.
Some of those are fucking wild.
I almost feel like it's like some of those points in the game actually are maybe the closest in terms of like vibe to like Metal Gear Solid, particularly like Metal Gear Solid 3 and 4. I think it was giving me kind of like flashbacks to those games a little bit. So yeah.
Oh, also cool. Look at this
stuff.
I don't know. I think I don't know if this was just added for director's cut or if this has always been part of it. But there's a Cyberpunk tie-in, like a series of quests in the game where like the rewards are all Cyberpunk themed items. So I don't know if you noticed, but he had Johnny Silverhand's arm.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Cool.
You can also get V's like the like chrome lines on V's eyes. You can get those.
I've tried to
and Johnny Silverhand's glasses.
Like I usually play my PlayStation 5 games in front of my wife, and
Huh.
she's I don't know. Like, do you think a woman has played Death Stranding yet? Because it's
What the
it
fuck?
doesn't.
Brad.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah, I do.
I mean,
Yes.
it doesn't. I
Damn
don't
it.
know.
Oh my god! Please don't.
I-
Am I
I
am
don't
I
know,
like am, I-
man.
am I
Like,
serious.
am I out of line? Of course I'm out of line. Am I like? But I mean, do y'all know what I'm getting at? This is like,
I don't.
Dude,
this is what is
My
this
wife
game?
watched me play a good chunk of this game, and even though she had
I-
no fucking clue what was
I
happening,
do.
she was into
I
it.
do feel like I don't know, man. I don't want to get too weird and sappy about it, but like this, like
This
the
is
last
fucking buzz.
64 hours or 70 hours of playtime I put into this game were like a really nice, like personal experience. You know?
Special. It was special.
Yeah.
You
Like
can
it
say
was special, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, and you know, I.
You know, I
Your
get it.
mileage may vary for
A
sure.
lot
I
of
don't
people-
think it's a particularly arcane or impenetrable. Like, I don't think it's like a super dense piece of art. Like, oh, if you don't like it, you just don't understand it. I don't think that. But like, it's so just kind of based on the vibe and based on like, are you just kind of like it's like Journey, you know? I don't know. This game is like Hideo Kojima made Journey.
People
So-
came around on this thing, and I'm telling you, a lot of people played when the director's cut came out. A lot of people like gave it another chance. This game came out in November of 2019.
And I
Like,
still
this is a
managed to,
game
like,
that a
yeah.
lot of people
Oh,
came
what-
around on after
what,
COVID hit.
Yeah,
And-
what's changed since
Yeah.
November of 2019?
Exactly, right? So I get it. I don't know if I'm in the place. I feel like you do need to be in a place for this game, and maybe I'm
I
not.
will say I put about 64 hours into finishing it. You do not need to do that.
I mean,
I think
was
the
around the same
general
amount.
estimate is like to do the main story. You can it's like 30
40
or 40
hours.
hours. Yeah.
I'm
That
weird.
sounds
I
about
know.
right.
Some games will.
If
barely
you're a
push them
Kojima
into
fan though, like
40.
if you're a fan of Hideo Kojima and like Metal Gear Solid, like
For sure.
it's worth checking out just for that alone. But yeah, dude, it's like, you know, dude, it's too late for me. I'm awake now, you know, I'm sold. Like I've reaffirmed my belief that Kojima is kind of a fucking mad pervy bastard.
So it sounds like Crispy, you're gonna be playing Death Stranding 2 around release.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
much looking forward to when that game comes out.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's switch gears.
Fucking Metal Gear Solid Delta's coming out before that. Like, when is that? Is
In
that before
theory.
the end of the year?
No, well, we don't have.
They
date
haven't
yet,
said,
so I
but
don't think
it's
coming.
certainly
Yeah.
2025. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, damn.
All right. I want to pass. So, okay. So I'm going to pass it over to Chris Davis next.
Oh, hello.
have-
Hi.
Sorry. Maybe I should have gone over this order. I'm just kind of pulling this order out of my ass. But you wanted to talk. You've been playing MechWarrior 5, which is kind of like Death Stranding. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. Tell us about MechWarrior 5.
Well, so this is
He's been playing MechWarrior 5 Clans.
Yeah, this
right?
is specifically
what?
Clans.
Which is
This
the single player MechWarrior game.
is a brand
Oh,
new,
okay.
single player co-op game. It's not.
Does this resemble anything like MechWarrior 2, which is the last MechWarrior game I played?
Yeah, this is
in
a
19
MechWarrior game.
I mean,
But like I
this
played
is-
that in like 1998 or something.
I mean,
It's
yeah.
that serious.
None of the games have departed from that except for Mech Assault back on the Xbox. Like it is MechWarrior.
Are those technically the same series? And I just wasn't
Yeah,
aware of
it's
this?
it's the same universe.
It's BattleTech, but it's not. The game you played on your fucking PC or whatever you had in the 90s.
I don't even
your
know.
gateway
I don't even know.
computer
My
fucking-
game, yeah, that's accurate. I can tell you that.
Yeah, this is MechWarrior as MechWarrior.
You
Okay.
would
Mech Assault's some other
100%
thing.
recognize all these mech designs.
What brought you back to MechWarrior? I mean,
Well,
is this
so-
Is this
New,
like a
it's new.
So I
is
so I
this a new
played.
release?
So Mercenaries, MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries came out about 3 or 4 years ago. Same developer, by the way, Piranha. They did MechWarrior Online about 10 years ago. And the biggest request from them was a dedicated single-player co-op experience thing. MechWarrior Mercenaries, that was more of a bit of a, there was a narrative structure to it, but it was more of a roguelike experience. And there were some very cool things about it, but it was missing that narrative hit. And this is their attempt at introducing a story.
You say
and it's
attempt.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
it's a successful attempt.
Yeah, it's a
okay.
It's I think it's pretty successful. It's really interesting. Yeah, it's been getting pretty decent reviews. The thing about it is that Piranha is so just head down focused on like the lore of this entire franchise, which I have been discovering recently is incredibly deep and insane. And so like everything down to like the fucking voice acting is intentionally bad so they could match up to the characters and where they come from. Like
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So the conceit of this game, it's like the year 3045, and we're after the events of the Third Succession War in the Inner Sphere. There's a lot of lore. You could probably spend
it's starting to get into the weeds here with the.
You think VaatiVidya does exceptional stuff with Souls lore? Let me tell you, there's even more fucking BattleTech lore.
Are you? Okay.
So
really,
you're part of one of the lost clans, lost houses that is invading all the other planets in the Inner Sphere, the known universe inhabited by humans. And so they've been exiled from the Inner Sphere for hundreds of years. So they developed a like Mongol horde like culture, and their whole structure of society it's like this thing of, it is a slur. You are a lesser person in this universe if you are not born either from nobility or you are not genetically engineered into certain roles in society.
Shit got dark, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a whole technological dark age, but like it is feudalistic as fuck, but with mechs in space, which is really cool.
Also, is this? Well, this might be a dumb question. Is it? Well, never mind. It looks very open world to me, just kind of in terms like you're running around in a mech in like a large cityscape, and there's roads that seem to be connecting these places. And I don't know. You tell me.
I mean, the levels feel largest, but since this is a single player game, these are kind of linear levels. MechWarrior 5 was about randomly generated levels that were large in size, but again, they had that tiles and assets thing going for it that was really transparent.
Gotcha.
And they kind of addressed that in later updates, but I haven't gotten back to play it since they put those in. But yeah, these are handmade levels. A lot of them kind of canyon experiences, but also like large open areas like this automated military base on a planet.
Got some verticality. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's mountains and shit.
There's a lot of encouragement of like using your jump jets and verticality, and not necessarily there's stuff to explore and find. It's more about getting a decisive edge in combat, because this game is all about fucking combat. In fact, you're all about like editing your mechs, increasing the experience of your pilots, of customizing all your loadouts to a less than I'd want degree, and then just deploying into a story mission. And you just rinse and repeat for planet after planet after planet. And it is fucking cool, like how they make these mechs feel big and heavy. I think they have some issues with like scaling with like, you know, plants and stuff like that, because these things are meant to be like 3 or 4 stories tall. But
you went from like that base area where there was like buildings next to you, and then you're kind of like walking through a field, and it looks like bushes and trees and stuff should be a lot smaller by comparison, but they haven't really changed scale.
Yeah. But also, like, again, you're traveling to different alien worlds, so like I kind of forgive them a little bit for the foliage.
Maybe that's just the way shit is.
Yeah.
What has kind of been just in terms of like, there's a lot of different versions of mechs out there across different game series. Mech Warrior is always. What is Mech Warrior's like a take on this? Is it always all about like lumbering, like heavy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they can be
like-
really
like
small,
they're barely
lightweight,
mechs.
very fast.
They're walking tanks.
Chunky,
Walking
yeah.
tanks.
Well,
Okay.
there's battle mechs, and then there's omni mechs, and so they're essentially the same thing. It's just that battle mechs have incredible customization to them, and that was one of the driving aspects of Mercenaries. But in this, you're playing as omni mechs, and you can still customize a lot, but there's also a lot of it that you're locked out of, and you have to spend points to get. You have to spend experience points to purchase like cores, like different batches of limb sets and overall mech designs. So
Also, you played Mech Warrior 2. You know.
But I played Mech Warrior
like
2 when I
things.
was like in like it was the 90s.
Yeah.
I can't
Okay.
if it wasn't Resident Evil or Zelda, I don't remember much about anything that I played in them. Or Final Fantasy. One of those three. I don't remember much.
Yeah, they're very slow lumbering mechs. You know,
They are.
Mech Warrior is like
Also-
your legs are going this way and you're like aiming to the side. That's
We're
Mech
talking like
Warrior,
20
you know?
years. Like a series can change a lot in 20 years. You know, like
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
the
but
mech
this
has
is
evolved.
based on this is BattleTech. It's not gonna.
Yeah.
It's not gonna. You're not gonna get a new game in the BattleTech universe and suddenly it's Zone of the Enders. It's
no,
Yeah.
That's
it
fair.
is a.
I mean, I like the way Crispy explained it. It kind of like just it sets the expectation right out of the gate. They're lumbering tanks.
Metal
Personally,
Gears, if you will.
as a certified mech enjoyer, I find the designs of BattleTech style mechs to be repugnant and cowardly
Damn.
because they don't have the fucking wherewithal, the chutzpah to just give their mechs hands holding weapons. They have to just like
Well, there are.
make it a fucking laser gun
Well,
on an arm.
Okay, I
I
mean,
hate
like they are
hate that.
tanks essentially, but I will say there are mechs that have hands that carry melee weapons. There is literally a mech called a Hatchet Man, and it's this 4-story tall mech that runs around with a fucking giant hatchet.
Yeah.
So there's progress. They're making small strides.
Like it's-
Also, the creator of Mech Warrior was rude to me at a PAX one time, and my
Okay.
children's children will bear that grudge.
Okay.
damn,
Okay.
damn.
This motherfucking
Oh,
casual started talking about Mech Assault in front of a BattleTech guy.
Oh,
know.
you
Dude,
Oh.
that's what it was.
Oh,
no,
you broke
I
the
asked.
law.
Yeah.
Did you apologize?
No.
You should
fuck
have.
Does it
that
sound like I fucking apologized? I wish a plague on his house.
Jesus.
So
So
then
I
COVID happened.
and then COVID happened.
Wow.
Jesus
How
Christ.
dare. So
Oh
I've
my
been,
lord.
I've been playing this mainly co-op with a bunch of friends, going through the campaign and trying out different mechs. Like this is a Nova, and the whole idea of it is that on each arm you could hold up like 6 lasers. So
It's so
you could
funny
essentially
have
be like a
Mech
fucking
Warrior friends.
shotgun of lasers, annihilating people if you're doing proper aiming of like limbs and stuff like that. But I've been trying out so many other mechs that are really cool, getting different weapon combinations, and sometimes I'm like this giant missile boat that is destroying things from afar. Sometimes I have these electromagnetic PPC cannons, which will like just explode outward with a ball of lightning. Like there's
cool. I like
there's
that.
all the designs are pretty fun to me, honestly. Like I understand where you're coming from, Crispy, with like, you know, all that, but also this stuff
That's
is still
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah.
They're clunky
Yeah,
and
it's
chunky.
fine.
I
They're
get it.
designed.
It could be
no-
worse.
It's
could be
no
worse. It could
Armored
be me.
Core,
I
but
just think-
sure.
I think lumbering robots are dumb. So, you know, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't.
Wow.
I don't
It's
actually
lumbering, but they
Racist.
got hands. They're holding guns. It's
They
good.
got hands.
I don't actually feel that way for just so you
I
know.
just think this is the mech design is one of the few areas where, you know, I think
there's
the
a right and a wrong
Japanese
answer.
have completely outpaced us They know how to make a cool mech.
I mean, they're
We don't.
building like real ones,
Yeah.
aren't they? I mean, they don't do much.
They're building standing ones, but like moving ones.
Yeah,
is a whole other conversation.
they're building ones like life-size ones that stand, and that's about it. But
Yeah.
you know, that's progress.
But I mean, like going back to
They
the
take
story.
that shit seriously.
Yeah, go back to the story real quick. Like I'm having so much fun with like kind of being thrown into the deep end of this universe because like I understood some of it when I played Mercenaries, but I didn't know like how fucking deep it was gonna go with clans. Like the fact that the main character and his crew like they don't use contractions when they're talking. And that's an
they're like
intentional
dating.
part of their genetic upbringing and design. Like it is a slur in this universe to not have like a nobility name or a job of nobility. Like
Nolan's like,
there's-
why does he keep saying the word slur?
No,
it feels like the wrong word.
No, they call people like Sir Rats because they don't have a righteous surname.
There is a caste system.
Oh, it is 120% a fucking caste system.
Maybe
Like-
maybe taking it even
Yeah,
further.
but why does that
further.
excite you, Chris
If-
Davis? That's not bullshit.
Fuck off. But like,
Let's be real.
if you're
It probably
Extreme social stratification enforced by violence.
like, it's just
I
so
think it comes
fucking
to the fact that it's
weird.
It all
universe.
depends on who you're
Interesting to
fighting.
me. Like,
I mean,
it's so cool to me that
it makes for interesting political like
yeah,
conflict. You know what I mean?
Like,
and,
the fact
and
that-
maybe you don't expect it in a universe like this at first.
we're 1,000 years in the future and we're in a technological dark age in which humanity has conquered known space and has divided that space up between feudalistic houses that operate on caste systems and not even like personal merit, like your upbringing and birth determines your role in society in this world. Like
You know what? That's not- you know what that-
No one's ever done that before.
yeah,
You know-
yeah.
Frank
Never.
Herbert.
You know what else this kind of sounds familiar to? If anyone's playing Metaphor Refantasio, that's kind of a major
Yeah,
component
yeah.
of that
That's
game
the
as
other
well.
thing I was thinking of. Dune
Yes.
and Metaphor Refantasio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nick, you've been diving in deep on that.
Yeah, I have, but we'll
Wow.
talk about that later.
Yeah, but this game's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it so
seems pretty
far.
cool.
I want to say I'm at least halfway through it at this point.
Are you playing exclusively with these Mech Warrior friends that you have, or are you jumping in and out of solo play as well?
No, I'm exclusively playing. The main reason why is that the one who owns the campaign, the person you're joining, your save status doesn't carry over from
Goes-
them. So I
Oh,
essentially
gotcha.
have nothing to my name. It's just on his
Unless you're playing with them.
campaign. Yeah,
Gotcha. Okay, that's cool. I mean, I don't know. If
it's
that
not
in
cool. It's not cool at all.
It's not.
But-
Sorry, that is not cool. But I get what you're saying. You are playing this exclusively with this friend. Gotcha.
Yeah, friends I've
It's kind
known
of
since like high school.
Like Factor. Unless we want to start over, we pretty much have to play together again, or we're starting over from scratch.
Yeah, yeah, but they're doing good on getting patches out and updating things, and because there's a lot of things they do need to fix. But they're working
It is.
towards it. So
I just looked it up on OpenCritic. You're right. It is reviewing pretty. I mean, they don't have a ton of reviews yet, but it's sitting at like a 79, which is not bad. Not
I mean,
bad.
there is a bit of a thirsty market for mech games right now, and the more you can
Crispy's
provide,
like, yep.
yeah.
I thought about playing Armored Core 6 again the other day.
Yo,
Hmm.
the one. Okay, yeah. Never mind. We need to move on.
Yeah, we probably should. So
Yeah.
here's what we'll do. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to let Brad lead us into his, and maybe Nolan. I don't know if Nolan's been playing it as well, but maybe the UFO 50 minute, as they've been doing the past few weeks. Talk about some highlights, some games from UFO 50. And then I want to hear Brad's thoughts on Silent Hill 2, because he's been playing that. And we'll wrap up the 4-player minute, of course. So if y'all are watching live, don't go anywhere, or listening from home, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this quick break.
$8.93.
813. That reminds me. I was before we came in here, jumped on the call. I was like, oh my god. I was talking to my wife, and I was like, it's been like 2.5 weeks. I feel so out of practice. how do I even record a show? She's like, you're never gonna forget how to do a show. You've been doing this for 8 years.
You
More than that.
vocalized this to her? That's such a weird thing for you to say.
I was like, try again, and she's like, 10 years, and I was like, we started this in 2008. She's like,
literally.
oh Jesus.
Been doing this for so long, you could sleep your way through a podcast. There's hosting. You could host your way through this podcast
Out of a paper bag.
I could host my way out of a paper bag. I'm gonna grab some water.
For you to go, I don't know if I can podcast.
I mean, I was more of just
anything to say.
I was waiting for coffee I was waiting for my coffee, and I was just
small talk.
And I was just like, oh god, I feel like it's been so long. Anyways, I'll be right back.
Crazy. What's up, Crispy?
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Oh, yeah, you should.
I watched a random episode of Masters of Horror. Do you remember Masters of Horror? You might actually be a little. You're not young or anything. You're definitely an old man. Yeah. It's like a early aughts like anthology horror series from different like horror creators, directors.
Didn't they used to show it on Sci-Fi?
Probably. I watched a random one. I don't know. Malia found like a list or whatever. It was like, oh, these ones are good or whatever. Watch one from the creators of from the creator of Gremlins. What's his face? Anyways, this was a crazy fucking episode. It had the dude from 90210, not Dylan, but the other one. Brandon? Who's the dude from 90210? Whatever. Elliot Gould was in it as well. Anyways, there's a there's like a virus that is making men. Joe Dante, yeah. That there's a virus that's making men like sexually aggressive and then like murdery. They're basically like murdering women. Like across the world, they just start like murdering women, and and it's like getting worse, and it's like spreading, and like the two like the main characters are like research, like they're like scientists and they're trying to like find a cure or whatever, but then at the same time it's like, oh, I can't go home to my family because like it's spreading, so they think they're safe and they're like moving north because literally people are moving north to get away from this virus that's spreading, that is literally women are being murdered. And
the screw fly solution.
Yeah. So it was unhinged.
Dude, he did another one. He
the main character like murders his daughter, and maybe worse. It's like it's not
pretty full on.
Yeah. And like anyways, the twist at the end is that like I don't even know if it's a twist. I feel like someone figured out early it was aliens. Where like this was their attempt to control the human population and like take over, was to have the men murder all the women.
It's so that we would annihilate ourselves.
Basically, yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And it was like really brutal and like kind of graphic, and it was just like I was like, I don't know what list you pulled this from, but like we first turned it on, right? We picked a random episode, and it was like, and in that episode, it was a kid eating an ice cream bar, and he was getting all like pissed at like his dad, who was like being mean. He was like, "Don't be mean to me," or something, and like then the dad started to act scared, and he bit into the ice cream bar, and then like the dad melted into ice cream, and that was like the start of that episode. I'm like, oh, this is insane, but this is kind of fun. And then Malia was like, let's find a list of like the best ones, and then we hopped to that one. To this other murdery one. I was like, oh man, we should have watched the ice cream one. This was ridiculous.
Joe Dante did another episode called Homecoming, a political satire in which the reanimated corpses of American soldiers killed in Iraq return in an attempt to sway the U.S. presidential election.
Okay. Joe Dante's been going through some shit, I guess. I don't know.
In 2005, he was really in a weird place.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's fun. Dude, that Hundreds of Beavers though, like, trust me, just go watch it. You don't even have to look up a trailer.
Okay.
Watch it. I don't know. It's just it's unique and it's weird, and if you like movies, you should be aware that somebody did this.
Okay. I don't know what to expect, honestly, but is it Halloweeny?
Mm,
That's a no.
no. Do you like survival crafting games?
I do.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well,
Intriguing.
there you go.
You have my attention. All right, y'all ready?
Also, there are
I
hundreds of beavers.
am recording.
I am
Hopefully
also
the kind of
recording.
beavers I like.
Ba-doom-tsh.
The one thing I will
I
tell you
am
is that
recording.
the movie has a bunch of animals in it, and every single animal in the movie is played by a dude in a costume, in a mascot costume.
Interesting.
All right. The Chris's, are y'all both recording?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Roll call for the second segment starts now. Brad,
What you eating, Chris Davis?
Chris Davis.
I'm having a pepperoni roll from Double Dave's.
Oh, a double Dave's pepperoni roll. That's a good one. I like those.
No.
They've lost it. New management. What's going on with,
Okay,
with
everybody,
that company?
Lost
It's
Stop
bad.
it! Stop it! Stop it!
Since when?
Stop it! Nolan,
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
What is Nolan
Crispy,
eating?
Crispy.
Hello.
I think the real question is here: what is everybody eating?
I'm
None
not
yet.
eating anything.
None yet.
I got a fresh nunya from the
An
pantry.
onion? He's eating an onion? That's
And-
crazy.
Okay. All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. As I said before the break, I was gonna start this segment by handing it over to Brad to lead us through our new segment for the
Oh.
foreseeable future of
Yeah.
the UFO 50 minute.
I got
Or
two new guys here.
two new Jimmies from the UFO 50 collection.
Yeah. These two, I guess, strategy games of sorts, but very different flavors. The first one is called A Tactics. This one I have finished.
Attack.
A Tactics. This is a man. God, how do I describe this? This is a game where it kind of reminds me of like Plants vs Zombies, but if like both sides were fighting each other at the same time. I'm sure there's probably a better like modern touchstone for something like this. But anyways, I'm in a mode where I guess it's just me versus the computer, and my units are moving to the right, and their units are moving to the left, and I'm trying to get my units through. Which are various classes, there's like shieldsmen and spearmen and soldiers and like cavalry and whatnot, and we're just kind of going at each other, and I'm trying to get my guys through to hit their fort like 3 times to like win the match up or whatever. And their guys are trying to get through, so I'm trying to defend my side, right? And all of the unit types have like different properties and whatnot, and it gets really crazy and hectic because there's like a timer that's going on the top of the screen, and you only have so much time before the next turn advances. So it's like a real time tactics game kind of that's like constantly moving, and it gets really hectic. Just
High pressure.
yeah, because you're trying to manage your whole side. Um,
It's like if you were
like
playing
quickly.
chess and there was a timer, like you have this
Nick,
this many
they do
seconds
have
to make your move.
it's called.
Well, I
speech.
mean, I guess that's
But
true.
yeah.
Touche.
But it's like speed chess if both people were moving at the same time, I guess, right? Which is crazy to think about. Whoa. um and it's like it's very overwhelming at first, but it's also like really cool because there's all like different kinds of like interactions, like you get ninjas and they actually attack up and down, right? So it's you're placing them in a lane that isn't really serving that lane that they're in. It's more about attacking above in the columns above. But it's just a really like hectic game that at first feels so overwhelming, like you're never gonna get it, but you start kind of learning like little tricks and how to like move really quickly and like moving your archers back because you don't kind of want your archers advancing on like the enemy. You want them to hang back to kind of like pick them off. And I feel like one of the things that like throws the biggest wrench into it is this unit type that explodes when they die, and it can be like friendly fire as well. And making sure they're in a position to actually do damage to the enemy, but not take out your guys as well, like adds so much more stress to this like tactics game that just never stops. But it's fun. It's like a simple idea executed well, which is what a lot of UFO 50 is. And when it finally clicked, I just kind of like steamrolled through this thing. It was just a lot of fun. And there's still more modes within this game to play. I just kind of got through the campaign, and this is like maybe like the first challenge map or whatever. And there's some like neat ideas for like how they mix it up. Like, oh, in this level, you only have the exploding guys and stuff. But it's just cool, neat idea executed well. And
Cool.
I don't know if Chris Davis wants to try to like skim to the next one real quick. And the footage is I kind of record these together, so it's a little awkward. I should probably start doing two. Um, the next one is a strategy game that I would skip ahead a little bit further, because I'm kind of like this one's called Lords of Disctonia. I think is that what it's called? That can't be.
That's
what
a
it's
weird
called.
name.
Disctonia, and this is also a strategy game, but it's like also like a class-based strategy game, but it's turn-based, and you're basically like playing like shuffleboard. So you're various you're going up against like the enemy AI, and I'm pretty sure both these games actually have 2-player modes. But this one you're buying like units, you're collecting resources and buying units at towns like on like a world map, and kind of like moving towards like the enemy on that map. And when you encounter them, you kind of get into these battles where you're sliding your pieces around like shuffleboard style, like you're trying to like hit the enemy with your like disc, and like also like hit them into other enemies so they take like combined damage from like hitting each other, right? And like the various
Air
job
hockey.
classes are like different sized discs. And like so like if you can buy an ogre for your team, and it's like a huge disc that does a lot of damage, but you can only fling it one time like per turn. But if it's like the right turn and you line it up, you can take out like multiple enemy units and like a really good like fling of your ogre disc or whatever. And they also have these rats that are like little tiny discs, but you can like fling them. They don't do a lot of damage, and they're like really tiny. They don't have a lot of hit points, but like they can
They're hard
move
to hit.
3 times in a single turn. So you can kind of like
Oh.
set up combos or like collect there's other things you can do on like a given like battle, like collecting for like your army or whatever, so you can like buy better units maybe at the next town, or like ping dudes around, um other things that are like I think my baby's crying, other things that are like
Oh no.
it's just again it's a neat little concept where they just turned like shuffleboard into a tactics game, and it's really cool. Like my only like negative on this one is that like it takes like the enemy turns are a little too like everything just moves a little too slow. I kind of wish there was like a speed up button for enemy turns, which again probably not something that would have existed in a game like from the 80s. But like you know this is one where like maybe a little bit of quality life would have gone a long way. But it's still fun. It's just sometimes when the enemy's going, it's like, all right, come on,
And you
dude.
haven't
I
finished
just
this
want to
one?
get through this battle, and I don't care about you taking 3 turns with your little rat, dude. But yeah, that's it. Those are my 2 strategy games. So still many more games to cover, but we'll save that for future
Cool.
podcasts.
Nolan,
Still,
I know you've
still
got a lot
absolutely
going
goated.
on, but
I go over UFO 50.
have you been playing any UFO 50?
So yes, to answer your question, I do have a lot going on, and to answer the second part of that question, no, I have not. Yeah,
Gotcha.
no, it's been a very baby centric week in terms of just trying to get so much around the house kind of ready. Painting and wallpapers and assembling cribs and car seats and strollers and go bags and just all the other stuff.
A lot.
So I've not, yeah, no, there is. And so it generally in the past week, but not even just baby stuff, just house stuff too. Like we're getting blinds installed, and I've installing some pendant lights in the kitchen, and just trying to get through all this crap that as soon as the baby's here, I'm not going to want to do. And so, and then my car died this week to the point where like I was having trouble even jumping it. It's just been a crazy week.
Well,
And
the good
so
news
was
about
looking pretty good,
UFO50
though.
is it's extremely like pick up and play like friendly.
no,
And
for
every
sure,
time
for
I turn
sure.
it on, I get it. I start seeing because it's so many games. I get like excited, like, oh, I've been meaning to go back to this one, and this one, and this one. It's very like pick up and play friendly for that reason.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, it is for sure. I just haven't had the time. But I lost my train of thought.
Baby.
But yeah, no, and you know, and that's
Things.
what I was just saying. Like, it's been so tiring the past like week that in the little bit of free time I have had, I've like I don't even want to play games right now. I just want to kind of do nothing.
You've reached that mentally exhausted level where it's like even doing something like that sounds like you're engaging too much.
Yeah, so while I've done some light gaming, I haven't done as much as I'd like. But yeah, it's one of those frustrating things where like I'm seeing Crispy talk about or hearing Crispy talk about Death Stranding, and I'm watching the footage, and I'm like, man, I really did enjoy my time with that game. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to pick that back up again because
It might be thematically appropriate because you do have the when you actually have the baby, you could like be holding the baby while
That's
playing the game where he
Yeah, dude.
has Lou.
I mean,
You're
you
doing
will
sympathy
get-
gaming.
I recommend like what did I with Griffin? I played a lot of like Ace Attorney because that's a game where
Mhm.
you could just like button through like the game. And the most recent like the Great Ace Attorney series even had a mode you could just click on to where basically the game plays itself. You don't even have to like make the choices in court. They'll kind of like make them for you. And you could just kind of button
Interesting.
through. And those are like really good story games. And you're just gonna
Yeah.
be laying with a sleeping baby a lot. So
That's true.
having
That's
good
not a
like
bad idea.
one-handed kind of stuff or just to kind of do, or you know, you could just read also, but whatever your
Yeah,
There's
that's
that.
true.
vibe is.
Okay.
Cool. And also, I'm sure if you were so inclined, I bet there's some people in our Discord who have had children already who might have other recommendations for
Yeah,
good,
Yeah, no,
good
definitely.
new
Play
parents
Balatro on
gaming.
your phone or whatever. But you know,
That's true.
And there's that.
With all
Okay.
the updates.
So, Brad, I'm gonna again hand
oh,
it back
Silent
over
Hill.
to you.
Yeah, this has been an interesting one for me. I'm
You've been
getting
streaming
there.
it.
I have been streaming it. So I've been doing a
I'll
lot
also
of streaming lately.
mention that I finished it this past week, and the footage you're watching is the same, but that's whatever.
Sure,
Yeah, I
sure.
finished as well.
And you know, I know you really enjoyed it because you kind of like shared.
I did.
Not only just on the podcast, but on like Twitter and stuff. So, and
did.
and for me, obviously, I'm not as big of a Silent Hill fan, but I do like Silent Hill 2. It was my favorite Silent Hill game, I think. It's kind of hard to like think back, honestly.
Well,
I'm not
honestly,
saying
I
that
think if you're
they
not
blur together, but like the vibes are very similar, like across the whole
They are.
series.
Well, at least in the first 4, the vibes change pretty significantly after 4, but that's because they're all made by different studios
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
do
yeah.
different things.
I will
But
say, like,
I can't
and
really
I- and
imagine.
I
I
have been
can't really
excited-
imagine a non-Silent Hill fan picking anything other than Silent Hill 2 as their favorite.
well,
I mean, maybe. I mean,
there's
that's
some interesting one. I mean, like, I think Shattered Memories was kind of interesting, honestly, and I think the first one is still like the scariest for me, like from when I played it, and it was just, you know, at the time there just wasn't really anything like that. It was very intense. You know, two reminds me of like Fatal Frame 2 or something, where like everyone agrees that one's like the best, but like, you know, Fatal Frame 1 was the one that is the first one I played, and that one scared me the most, right? So like it has that, and like maybe the third one has like better scare moments than like 2. I don't know, whatever. All this to say is I've been playing this. I've been excited to play it because it's, you know, a good horror game with actual combat in it, and it's October, and that's sort of my vibe. And but it's a slow starter for me. I like the first couple hours with it for me were kind of like dull.
it ratchet. Like it definitely is a slow build to the point.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think a
even,
lot
like-
of it had to do, like, essentially as soon as I got the gun, I
Mhm.
became immediately more engaged in the combat. And that's because when you just have the stick it's every encounter is the same. You're just running up to enemies and just whacking on things until they're done. Like just having that
And dodging.
extra choice. Yeah, like whacking and dodging, but it's the same for every encounter. You just run up to the thing and you hit it. But like all of a sudden, like having, okay, well now I'm gonna make a choice. Do I shoot this thing a couple of times before I start whacking on it? Do I shoot it at all? How much ammo do I have? Do I need to like save some ammo for a little bit and just try to like melee the next few enemies to death, like so I can save up a little bit of ammo in case I really need it, or should I just use some ammo now? And like you all of a sudden like just introducing that extra like mechanic adds a lot more like dynamics. I mean, makes the combat a lot more dynamic in a way that just was not there early on.
No.
And I would add to
and,
that,
and,
like,
and that's around the same time you encounter the enemies that start running away and hiding, and that is like extremely
Unnerving.
extremely like a
mannequins.
strength of this game that I don't think other Silent Hill games bothered doing. Right, it's that Dead Space 2 enemy that runs and hides, or like more recently well, I mean, more modern horror games have had that kind of thing where like enemies are like waiting for you or hiding, or
Dead Space 2.
or,
They did it.
Dead Space
They
2.
did it a little bit in the original Silent Hill 2, but in this game,
a little bit, but it's not like this.
yeah, this is like, and they'll be hiding in like really like when you walk into a room, depending on the layout, like they might be like tucked away in like this like odd nook or corner that's
it's
hard to
cool.
see when you come in. But like you can spot them, and like if you move slow enough and kind of look around, you can spot
but your
most of them
flashlight
ahead
will
of
trigger
time.
them. So like if you spot them but don't immediately like start shooting them, they'll react.
Wolfpacks, yeah.
And even those earlier enemies, when they start like slithering on the ground, they're moving really fast, and like where the fuck did it go? I gotta find it to like knock it out. It gets more fun. Like the combat certainly gets more fun. Now the Silent Hill like gameplay loop, like structure loop, is still like go to this room, find a key, this puzzle to find a key, to this room to get another key. Like, and at times it feels like a little bit exhausting, like it just goes on and on and on.
There's also you're doing something very specific with your
and I do want to talk about that.
Which
It's kind
is
of
crazy.
It started as kind of a joke, but I also kind of like meant it, and I'm actually glad I made this choice. And that's that I'm playing this game without using the map. And this is now the thing is, I've heard a lot of compliments about how good the map is. Like
the map is good
at tracking your objectives and updating and stuff. And
it's definitely benefiting from what Resident Evil 2 remake started, which is I think maybe the other games did it a little bit, but it makes notes and updates the map as you explore.
Good. It's a good map,
yeah.
but it's not needed. First of all, like Silent Hill is all about being in locations that have a lot of signage. You're in apartments, hospitals, stuff that has signs, hotels, that tells you where to go, room numbers, and you really don't need the map. And
you usually spend enough time in them that you start to learn. You start to learn the layout.
You start to learn the layout, and importantly, I don't think you do learn the layout when you start relying on the map too much.
I mean, I'll say this: I use the map. I use the map a ton, and I was learning the layout of the place, but I was not remembering what, because you'd be in a hotel and you find like room 102 had a thing. I can't do anything with this thing yet, so it makes note of that. Like it makes a note on the map, and then you find the thing like an hour later, and you're like, oh, I know where to use that, but I don't remember the room number it was in.
Well, but that's the thing. When you don't rely on the map at all, it's more about mentally mapping and remembering the areas that you haven't checked yet, because it's probably going to be what is going to be the thing that needs to take you. Because you do a lot of backtracking, but you're still going to consistently going to areas you have not been yet. So it's been surprising, and I'm in the hell version of the hospital at this point, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty far, and people have their doubts. They're like, oh, you're getting through the apartment, you're gonna go through the hospital and stuff. But I'm telling you, when you don't rely on it, it becomes a little bit of a crutch, because and what's crazy to me is when I'm watching footage of other people playing, they're constantly opening their map, and the developer knows that, because they even tell you at the end of the game how many times you've opened your map as you played the game. It's almost like it's become a meme,
It's a
And
crutch. It's a crutch, or you can look at it as a crutch. But here's the thing: as you've already stated, you can play the game without the map. So it's not like the
yeah,
world is poorly designed and you need the map to get around.
I'm
It's just
glad that I
the
was
map
able,
is a
because
useful
it
tool.
started as a joke. I'm glad that I've been able to be successful at the bit, and that's to
Right.
play the game without the map. I
Hmm.
was worried that it was going to be a real struggle, and it hasn't. It's been quite pleasant
So
getting around.
let me just say. So you said people were immediately like, "You're going to get fucked in the hospital," right? When you don't use the
No, you
map.
were just talking about the prison or whatever,
The
but I'm saying
prison
like
is the one where
I'm
I think it might become part of it might
yeah, but
become a
like
little
I'm
bit of a
telling you,
challenge.
I'm like, but there's prison blocks and stuff, right? I'm sure there's signs, right?
There are, but but you know how prisons are, or I don't know if you know that, but typically like prisons are
Most of them
organized
are
in
in
such
prison. A lot about
like you have to go through like certain like checkpoints to get to certain areas,
Yeah.
and you have to like they have like double entrances, and like
Yeah.
sometimes they have a room that has like 3 doors. Like one is where you would take prisoners to get to the block. The other is where people who like prison guards would be able to go to like get around the prison block and stuff. So it just becomes like really like because you're just approaching it as a person, right? And it's just like this is not organized as logically, or I mean it's organized logically, but it's not organized in such an obvious way as something that we all experience in life with like
But yeah,
apartments
but
and
sure, like,
hospitals and stuff.
but that's the thing about the location, the kinds of locations you're in Silent Hill. They're all this kind of like, you know, like how do we get the most people in this space? Like they're
Right.
all structured in such a way that
There's logic.
none
to
of
it.
it's like that. I mean, it's logical to like the in like a bureaucratic way, but it's not logical to like, a person who's just trying to like navigate a space, right? But I'm telling you, it's like I don't know. I'm just thinking about it differently.
It's good, and it's fine.
I'm
I mean,
going based on where I'm looking, and I'm
I
telling
just
you,
wanted to
it's working,
stress
and I'm surprised.
that's great, and I just want to stress that like I think that's a great thing that you can play it that way.
Yeah, and
But
I'm
I
not.
also want to make
I already know what you're saying.
I just
You don't want me to say that I'm playing it the better way, and I'm not. I'm not saying that.
I know,
I'm saying like I found a unique way to play it that kind of engaged my brain early on
and
when
it's
I was
wild.
feeling a little bored, and it's worked out well. It's worked out well.
I'm wondering if you'll have this if you're gonna have this. Don't take this the wrong way. If you're gonna have the stamina for it, because by the time because like it took even looking at the map a lot in my game. It took me, I think my
I think the
final
map
hour
slows you
count
down.
was like 18 hours. You think it slows you down?
I think it
Okay.
might slow
I
you
was gonna
down.
say not using the map is slowing you down,
But
but
I'm
I'll
not
be
stopping to look at a map. I'm just
okay.
I
Okay.
know I
Okay.
feel like I
That's
know where
fair.
I'm going. And you
All
have
right.
to think about it a lot, but like you're constantly opening up shortcuts in this game. Like
You
constantly.
are.
Yeah.
Like
It's like
I
Dark
think
Souls,
more
baby.
so than even like any other Silent Hill game. Like they've found ways to like make shortcuts.
You know,
And it's
one thing since I because when I last talked about this game, I was about as far as the hospital I think as well, and now that I've finished the game, there's obviously but there's a lot of talk. We'll talk about it in a second too, but like a lot of talk about Bloober and kind of their, you know, how much of this is theirs, how much of this is the bones of Silent Hill 2 kind of thing. And I think the answer would surprise if people who haven't played it. I think the answer would surprise you a lot. That like Bloober has changed a lot in this game. It's obviously got the bones and the structure, but like
you're doing one
the place where it becomes the most obvious, I think, where you can kind of see Bloober's contribution to the game more than maybe anywhere else is the prison section. Because if you remember the prison section from the original game, it's very creepy, but you're in and out in like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. It's a very small area. It's not like it's not like the apartments or not like the hospital.
Not
but
in
like,
this. It is a
not in
different
this.
beast.
It is a expansive. I spent a lot of time in this prison, and like,
do you feel like it added a lot though? Like I don't
no,
know. I feel like
dude,
they
I
need to
feel like
cut like 20-30% off of each of these areas, honestly.
no, man.
I
I
wish I
mean,
spent more time in the town than
but you don't
in these
spend.
areas.
I don't disagree with you because that again, I've said this a lot. I think that's my favorite. That's why I like Downpour so much is that you spend so much time in the town, and you do spend more time in the town in this game than you do in 3 or even 4. But there's not as much to find. There's not as much like there's not like many side things to find or whatever. I mean, there's Easter eggs and cool shit to find, but like it's not a ton. But like as the game went on, and by the end of it, like I was kind of astounded by how much Bloober
changed things up and introduced new things. And like, I was kind of waiting for like the other shoe to drop, and like I was like, somewhere along the line here, they're gonna take a misstep, and something's gonna falter, and it's not gonna land or have the same impact as the original. But that never really happened. And the most surprising thing, and I was saying this all the way to the end of the game, and this is not just because I think the combat is obviously a lot better, and quite honestly, in my opinion, I think it's fun. The boss fights, the boss encounters in
They're
this
pretty
game,
cool. Like
they're fucking
one
cool.
Yeah.
The one that at the end of the apartment, that was like a cool fight.
And they're all like, if you remember the boss fights in the original game, like the enemy will come out and it's a lot of just like run in circles, shoot at them until they die, and then a cutscene plays.
I mean,
All of the boss fights,
dodging, but yes.
yeah, all of the boss fights in the remake have been kind of recontextualized and like integrated into the actual environment in interesting ways, like weird, like new boss patterns, and like the way they utilize the environment to like get around you or attack you and stuff are all just really interesting. And they're like all the way up to the very end, even the final boss, like they're all I think all of the boss fights in this game are an improvement over the boss fight designs of the original, and that's not just because the combat is better. Like there's some genuine thought that went into them and improvements.
I do feel like they're like one system shy of like a truly great like this is, I don't think it's like a great horror action game, right? Like this is the strengths of this game I think are still the strengths of Silent Hill 2, the original, like when at its best, right? And like I think the combat is fun, but I just wish like you spend so much time in place, you cover so much ground in this game, whether it be a dense building or just like the Silent Hill itself. I wish there was like something else to find that wasn't just an Easter egg. I wish there was like some weapon mods or some shit that I could find by doing like a little side area, or just
I was really hoping
one extra little thing to add to the combat, or like a system to back up the combat.
Yeah.
For me, I was kind of hoping they were going to take a note out of Downpour's book, because there are like entire story, like side story threads and like quests that you do out in the world that like they don't give you things like upgrades, but they like you come across unique stories and like weird happenings that like you end up going down little rabbit holes and finding
narrative pieces.
I feel like full actualization for you or whatever, your galaxy brain, is when you finally admit to the world that Downpour is your favorite Silent Hill
dude. Here's the thing.
No. You got to say number one. You got to let the world know. It makes you uncomfortable. I know.
I will tell you this. A long time ago, I was for the longest time I was going to do like a top 5 Silent Hill game video, and I had my order planned out and everything. And while Silent Hill 2 was my number 1, Downpour was my number 2. And I know that's not the same thing, but like but I will say this. And
your day's gone, Mom.
But here, I'll say something equally as controversial now that I've finished this remake. And I'm saying this as someone who has put Silent Hill 2, the original, in my top 5 consistently since the day I played it.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, no, listen. I think this is in a lot of ways a better game than the original. I think you should be allowed to say that when like mechanically and functionally it's better. It is fun to play this game in ways that the original was never fun.
No, I mean, sure.
The gameplay in the original, a game that I love
entirely. I mean, that's true.
The gameplay that I love of the original is a chore. Admittedly, it's a chore. It was the atmosphere, the vibe, and the story that always kept it in my top 5. The gameplay was never a factor in that. I mean, aside from like exploration is always fun, but like it was never fun to.
The gaming Brit was saying on, like, he did this YouTube video about how he doesn't want to care about the fucking remakes or whatever. You know, honestly, most of his takes were a little fucking jaded, and he was just kind of angry, right? But one of the things he said that was kind of true was that this remake is impressive, I guess, right? But like, because it's like built on like modern standards of what we're looking for in like combat, right? And that's fine, right? and it makes it a more fun experience than it was in 2002 playing the original, sure. But like it's also like just based on like what is okay, like in terms of like
I know.
2024, and in like 20 years when like this gameplay is also shit, maybe, you know, probably, um then
But
what?
like, I mean, it'll still be. Here's the thing.
At
But
some
like,
point you
the
gotta realize
original
that
was.
the original art is the fucking, maybe, I mean, if you're breaking it down to like, if are we looking for like the fun game or like valuing this as
I
art?
think we're getting a little. Like we
Yeah,
can
oh
go.
certainly
This
we're
is a
getting into the
dangerous
weeds,
rabbit
but
hole to
like,
go down.
but you know what I'm saying, like it's, I'm not as jaded about remakes as like some of these other people that are kind of like been talking about lately, but like when you are kind of viewing games as art, like it does make a remake. You know, it's like like look at the CGI and like the fucking George Lucas 2000s versions of Star Wars. Right at the time, he
Right.
thought it looked great, but now it's like, well, this looks way worse than the original movies because holy shit, this doesn't hold up at all.
I mean, I think this is a great looking game, but I do think you're right. We'll have to wait and see how time treats it. But like, whatever. Now we're talking about like the
Yeah.
Uncanny
Can I-
Valley and how shit's gonna look. Yeah, go ahead, Chris Davis. Sorry.
Yeah, a few things I want to mention because I've also finished the game, and this was my first Silent Hill experience. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, I'd never played a Silent Hill game before. Always been adjacent to it, never jumped in it. So the first thing I want to mention, to Brad's point about the combat and the action, I do share that like the first 4 to 5 hours of the game are a really good horror kind of action experience. You have very little ammo, you have very little in the way of health items, and you have to learn how to do that melee combat system, which I quite like that combat system. But once you get past the hospital, in my personal opinion, the entire momentum of combat shifts because they start giving you metric fuck tons of health and ammo. So
I will.
Yeah, crank up the difficulty then.
They also start throwing a lot more enemies at you. But I will
How
say
liberal
this.
were you with your ammo and stuff? Because I'm approaching it very much like I'm just gonna. They give me bullets, I'm gonna fucking use them. You know, and I'm not like carefully trying to take out enemies to conserve ammo that often. I have to get pretty low before I start doing that. I'm playing it like I played like The Last of Us, right? Just kind of scrappy. Oh, I used a little too many rounds. I'm not gonna like reload here. I'm just gonna be out of ammo for a while.
I used guns
that's healthy.
contextually based on the enemy. Like if it was like a singular like mannequin like that, like I'd probably engage more with melee combat. But like to give you perspective, at one point towards the end of the game, I had 150 bullets for my handgun.
Did that make combat less tense for you?
It was the tense went out the window for me.
See, I'll tell you this. There was one point where I had not 150, but I had like 80 something bullets. I think was maybe the highest I ever had at any given moment. And I was for a while. There was a short while where I was like, I'm starting to feel a little invincible here. And then they took me to an area. I don't remember what it was. But when I made it out of the area, I had like nothing, and I'm talking like no health, no ammo. Actually, another place where this happened,
drops, right? Where like if you're low on health, it's gonna start giving you health in some of those drawers that have been empty when you have.
I was getting very nervous.
No,
I was getting very nervous in the hotel. I was running low.
When I got to the prison, I had like 12 stim packs and like 20 health drinks. Like that's just for me being diligent and checking every room, but that feels like way too much.
But let me tell you, just like the original, there are a lot of difficulty options to adjust.
Why didn't you crank it up?
I mean,
adjusting it would have been a very Chris Davis thing to do, and also, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you normally would have like.
I don't think he fucks with
but you didn't. You didn't really have any Silent Hill like point of reference, so that probably explains it. But this is pretty. With the exception of the fact that they don't throw as many enemies at you in the original, this is a pretty typical Silent Hill experience in terms of how much ammunition and health they're giving you.
Yeah, my entire
higher difficulties will drop that.
My entire thought process for the game and how much ammo and health it was giving me was that you're going to use it. It's going to build up towards something. You're eventually going to get to a scenario where you have to start using all of this. And for the
It's
most part, that
2024.
was
the game is
an
not going
incorrect
to let you
assumption.
fuck yourself.
I mean, again,
Sure.
I had
I get it.
enough
Back
fun
in the
with it.
day, old survival horror games, you had to like be smart because you knew that the game was not gonna like make sure you had enough ammo to kill the fucking asshole on the plane in Code Veronica, right?
Yeah.
You know, but like in 2024, games aren't designed that way, man. That's why I just use what I have because I know they're just gonna give me more even when I'm out, right?
Not to mention,
Yeah.
some games can even like adjust that dynamically depending on how you're
That's
playing
they do.
in,
Yeah.
They
in the
do. They
moment.
do in this. Maybe not as elegantly as like Resident Evil, modern Resident Evil, but they're definitely doing that. And
Well, Well, I never died, and I never felt threatened after I left the
You
hospital.
never died?
So-
I died like 3 times.
see, so what was keeping you from turning up the difficulty?
I mean, it wasn't a thought because again, I was expecting because I didn't have a point of reference for this series or franchise. Like I expected that I would eventually be using all this stuff.
That's crazy. You
And
thought
apart
like
from the
Nemesis
final
was
boss
gonna
fight,
come
yes,
out
I
and you
used
were gonna
quite a
have to
bit.
use 300
never-
rounds of.
I mean, I felt inundated with enough ammo and health.
Chris
to feel very
Davis
safe.
is a better gamer.
I don't know about that, but
Pro
No,
gamer.
the better gamer realizes what's going on and they turn up the difficulty or turn it down or whatever. Really, I
Oh, shit.
mean, just
Sorry, Chris Davis, what else you got?
the other thing I really wanted to mention was that I was really kind of surprised how reserved Bloober has been with character dialogue in this game. Like, again, I never played the original Silent Hill. I never played
They
Silent Hill
knew
game
not to
before.
fuck with it.
But like, my immediate point of reference for this game and like what I expected from the experience was the Resident Evil 2 remake, right? And in that game, the characters are chatty. Like they are observing everything in the environment and they have something to fucking say. You don't get that in this game at all. And I really kind of expected it. And I was really surprised by how much restraint
Pleasantly
Bloober
surprised.
went there. Yeah.
well, it's very like surreal, right? Like just how much they're not reacting
Yeah.
to the things that are happening is like intentional. It's like fucking Lynchian at times, right? But like I think Bloober team knew that when they got the green light to remake this, there was one thing that they should not fuck with, and that's anything in regards to like story, characters, and there's it's not like it's one for one the same all the way through, and it's not like they aren't doing like good things with like
Yeah.
motion capture and performances and stuff. That stuff is good,
Mhm.
but they weren't gonna fuck with those pieces too much, and maybe
they
it
should.
led to them doing something like really successful, right? Because that original is
That's
so
what it's known for.
yeah, like goaded for that.
I do
Especially in
really
2002.
like-
It's crazy to like go from a world where like their horror games were Resident Evil, like tonally and like vibes and stuff, to like something this. It felt so much more mature. It was crazy.
Right.
So the fact that they just like very delicately built on that was honestly
I will say
maybe
this.
like the most impressive thing here.
I'm really happy with how all the performances in this game
Yeah.
turned out.
I
know-
really sympathize with pretty much every single character in this game.
I think even if you were to pick like the weakest quote unquote recreation of a character and their performance, even then that character is I would say an improvement, or
Which
at the
character?
very
are you
least.
talking about? Or
I mean, I've seen some people express some distaste in like the way Eddie is
Yeah, Eddie.
presented.
well,
but,
he
like-
wasn't a very tasteful character.
No. But I mean, I don't think it has to do with but like just the way, like he does look different. He does sound a little different than he did in the original. But I think the performance at hand is still really, really good. So, and like Angela, I think is so well done in this game. Like it's just it's not a huge cast, but like and all like the big moments, like all the big story moments landed. And I was worried that like, especially when you get towards the end, like those important moments start hitting, I was like somewhere along the line here, they're going to fuck something up. And it just never happened. So that was just really, I'm just kind of astounded the game exists. And it's good. So
The only
anyways,
thing I took issue with.
Okay.
The only thing I will say I took issue with was a very small part of the puzzle design and how they handle the narrative triggers for how you manage the endings. There is a puzzle in the hospital.
Those are
I will
always
not-
those are always obtuse.
yeah,
Dude,
but
that's
there's-
just something that's been like a mainstay of the series since day one, and it's the way that way. Like literally, just the weirdest, most random shit will have an impact on which ending you're gonna get. I got
It's
the
also
good ending.
fascinating though. I've heard this rant in like Discord or whatever, and you wanted more signposting or whatnot. And, I get it. Like if you play games to like get different endings or get certain endings, but like the way they handle that stuff, it really was a vibe, man. And people who are like obsessed with Silent Hill and would maybe replay them over and over again, like kind of like dig into like the wiki or what or wikis or whatever to like figure out how to get trigger the different endings. But like they were big swings. Maybe it wasn't executed all that well, but like just the idea of like, oh man, he looked at this knife in his inventory a little too much.
Dude, I think
now
one of
he
the
drove into
craziest
a
ones.
lake, at
What?
the end of the game, like
I think
that
one of the
is
craziest.
a big swing.
I think one of the craziest examples of this is in Silent Hill 2 is like when you are traveling with Maria when she's like shadowing you and following you and stuff. Depending on how well you stay close to how close you stay to her and how well you protect her from taking damage from enemies will have an impact on your ending. And I'm talking like will have a like kind of the entire not tone, but like impact or effect she has on you as a character in the end of the game is kind of affected by
There's new
by that.
endings, right? There's new endings.
Yeah,
they've added two new endings.
I feel like
yes.
I've noticed like when I was like in the strip club or whatever, there's like a bottle of booze I can look at, and there's like some, sexy pictures on the wall, and I'm like, I wonder if I like stare at this shit a long time, I'm gonna like have some like fucked up new
There's a-
ending or
there's a
whatever.
Some weird porno ending, yeah.
It's
Well,
Wait, what, Crispy?
I mean,
I said there's a pervy ending.
well, I mean, Silent Hill 2 is all about like fucking weird,
temptation,
fucking
and all that.
pervy sexual
Yeah.
violence. It's all a metaphor.
Sexual.
Yeah, but like
I mean,
But,
you're just fighting fucking phallic monsters and pairs of legs, and it's just
yeah, but there's also things that like
Evan.
that are basic gameplay design elements that factor into this. Like when you're playing a survival horror game, and I talked about this in Discord earlier, so we don't have to go much into it, but when you're playing a survival horror game, like the whole idea is that you don't want to get hurt. And so when you're playing these, you want to heal up constantly. You want to make certain you're 100% so you're ready to go for any encounter. Well, that's a fucking gameplay element that triggers endings in this game. Like if you have
I've got
to
a coward
actually,
ending for being a coward.
well, no, like you just have to like make it to where you are not healing yourself and you're at a constant state of pain in order to trigger an ending.
It's weird and obtuse.
That's
Trigger an
fucking
ending, but-
weird.
but-
For a
but-
game
but
that gives
those
you like
things-
50 health items by the end of the game, yeah, it's weird.
But just remember, those things, those kind of like weirder things that you have to do, those are not like the quote unquote canon ending or the ending. Those are usually the endings that you strive to go for in your second or third playthrough. And there are some endings you can't even unlock until you've done an entire playthrough. So like,
Yeah.
the main kind of like thematically appropriate story ending is the one that you are most likely to get on your first playthrough.
Look,
Yeah.
man, it's art. It's cinema.
But like, that is
The
just one of,
Mulholland
like, the
Drive
weird-
DVD didn't have a scene select because David Lynch knew people were gonna want to jump around to figure that fucking web out. They were like, "Fuck you! We're not even gonna let you do more than 2 times fast forward on this DVD." He's a madman.
That's clever.
Yeah, that
but
is.
Yeah.
It's
But,
just
like-
it's just that's one of the little idiosyncrasies about Silent Hill as a series that is just kind of like you either love it or you hate it, but like that's one of the things that makes it Silent Hill.
Yeah.
There's a
But-
UFO ending
Yes, there is. And there's the dog ending.
and
Yeah,
the dog ending.
Yeah. But like
So.
after playing this game for 20 hours and just how fucking depressing this game is designed to be, narratively speaking.
It is
like,
depressing.
It's as much as I appreciate the quality of work put into this game, I think it solidified that I'm not a Silent Hill fan and that I'm probably not
I thought
gonna
you
play
weren't
another
even going to play it. Like I thought you had already formed that opinion, and that's why you weren't playing it. But I'm actually really
no.
impressed and glad that you played it. Even if that's the conclusion you ultimately came to, I'm glad you played it. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that I played it. I think this was good for me. It's just I can only take so much depression in my midlife crisis right now. So
without getting into details, which ending did you get?
Wait, I don't trust. I don't trust that question or the answer he's going to give.
Do you know what ending he got?
I mean, I know. Like I said, there is one ending that you are most likely, unless you do some weird shit, you are the most likely to get in your first playthrough, and I think it's probably the one that he got. But I don't want to go into the details.
Water? Like, so, well, they kind of had names.
No.
Yeah, they all have names. I got Leave, if that means anything.
Yeah, Leave is the most common one. That's the one I got too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it just strikes me. Again, I don't want to go into it, but it just strikes me that you have to work harder to get a worse ending for your character.
Yeah, but that's the fun of the second and third playthroughs, man. You're trying to get
y'all have fun with that
weird shit.
Silent Hill fans do try to, like, you're a lore boy, you know. You're like these things are all connected, and that's fair. But like in Silent Hill, girlies like Nick, I'm sure they try to like figure it all out and like connect all the games to each other. But like, these are vibes games, man. You got to just like, your ending is your ending, man.
Let me say that on that note,
but like you're not even supposed to know about those fucking mechanics that gave you the ending that you got.
Right.
Independent research on the fucking internet. Taught you that.
I don't try to connect all the games, Brad, you little bitch. But I will say this: there are some really neat, because you obviously have, like, now that when the original came out, there was obviously only 2 games. Now that this remake is out and there's like 8 games that preceded it, or more technically, there are a lot more Easter eggs that kind of like hint at or like give you like little nods to those other games, and those are really cool moments. Like if you have played the entire series, that make you go, oh shit, I know what that's talking about. But like none of them are like direct. Like, they don't ever like factor into the actual game in any significant way. But I thought it was nice.
The
Anyways,
endings don't
we need
even
to move
matter
on.
in Silent Hill 2. The ending is that letter, right? Like it's
that will always be the same. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up. Sorry, that conversation went a little long. Let's go ahead and wrap up with the 4-player minute.
You got shit to say.
Yeah, no, I know it's great. But since the last 3 times I've tried to get Brad to go first, he's always
no. I'm ready. Let's do it.
What the fuck, this motherfucker. Give us your final thoughts.
My 4-player minute starts now. My 4-player minute is about I'm off like first week of November for like it's for reasons like staycation reasons. I got to be at home, like mostly childcare reasons, right? And it's crazy because this year I think it's been a really great year for video games, and I have started so many games that like I truly think are like just fucking awesome. Like, a lot of years maybe I'm like playing games and I'm like, oh, this one's cool, and this one, fuck this game, this one sucks, and I'll like put it down and I'll move on to something else. But like I feel like everything I've like picked up this year I've just kind of been vibing with, and I've really enjoyed it. And a lot of that, some of that stuff I finished, and a lot of that stuff I haven't. And I'm always kind of like, I'm gonna go back to this. I'm like putting a little bookmark in this one, and I'm gonna circle back around to it. And I'm getting so we talked about it earlier, I think, or before the show. October 31st, Dragon Age comes out. I'm like, oh, well, shit. I'm a Dragon Age guy. I guess I'll be playing Dragon Age in that week that I'm off with my little staycation. And I'm like, oh shit. Well, I do kind of need to catch up on games, right? But I also like, I'm gonna play the new Dragon Age. And then they announced this Castlevania, or even before that. Well, it's Castlevania DLC for Vampire Survivors, which is notoriously a game that you can just dump hours melt away. Time doesn't exist when you're playing Vampire Survivors, and it's Castlevania themed. Okay. Well, am I even gonna play Dragon Age now? It's crazy. like it's like I have already been fighting the urge, because Halls of Torment is a Vampire Survivors, like I think probably maybe at least the one that's grabbed me the most since Vampire Survivors, and I really liked it. I played a lot during early access, but it's another game that you could just lose time to. It hit 1.0, and I've been like really fighting the urge to touch that. I don't even want to touch it. I deleted it off my Steam Deck. I'm like, no, you need to finish like Tactical Breach Wizards and all these other games, SteamWorld Ice 2. Like I have so many games. I still have not finished Dragon's Dogma 2.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because it's like bookmark. Or I folded the corner of the page, and I'm like, I'm going to come back to this. I got to keep up with my game flag. Got to keep up with my stupid
Yeah.
podcast or whatever, right? Then UFO 50 comes out, right? UFO
Touche.
50 still, I want to spend so much more time with it, and I'm like, well, shit, And then this Monster Hunter beta, also next week, it all timed for like when I'm off for a week of work. Like it's like faded, right? All this stuff's happening, and now I'm like, well, what? Why even? I might as well just play Halls of Torment. My year's done, right? Like all this stuff is like crack to me, is what I'm trying to say. So like, why? I should just give in to these urges, right?
Stop.
Why even care about finishing fucking Rise of the Ronin or whatever? Who gives a shit? I have games that play themselves, and they're Castlevania themed now. I don't need real video games. I think I'm just gonna let it go.
Oh my god.
Is that bad? Let it
Yes.
go.
I hate you.
I don't need. I don't know. That's what I've been thinking about, and now I feel like I'm just gonna like. It's weird. It's a weird concept to be like productive with video games. Like I want to do something productive with my game time versus like not productive. Like playing a bunch of Slay the Spire again. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna go full sicko mode on Halls of Torment up until the release of Vampire Survivors.
You can't let me be like the only person playing Dragon Age.
I will play Dragon Age. Trust me.
Crispy
Don't
will be
worry.
playing
And it's weird that you're even like so hyped about it. You didn't even
Dude,
finish
I played the
Inquisition.
shit out of Dragon Age 1 and 2. It's just Inquisition.
Like this
that I
game
bounced
is
off
like a
of.
direct follow up to Inquisition. Though.
I know.
It's
I'm gonna watch a YouTube video, and I'm just gonna call it a day.
Is it maybe on Steam?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Is anyone buying it on Steam?
I think I am.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, then I'll be playing it because I
we
can't
can't
afford
play
to
it.
buy it myself.
But we can't play it at the same time. But yeah, I think I am gonna buy it on Steam.
Well, I mean, you are sleeping when he probably wants to play Dragon.
That is true. We have
I don't think
opposite.
y'all
We
need
have
to worry
opposite
about
sleep
it.
schedules.
Also, he can start up the game and then just pull the cord on his internet or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, really?
ways to do that more elegantly,
Yeah.
and he could just play. It's
If you're offline, it can't tell you that Nick got online to play. So
Oh, that's sick.
That's a good.
Anyways.
That's a good point. Anyways,
that's all.
All right. Why don't I pass the baton over to Nolan?
Sure. So yeah, my 4-player time of the month starts now. Man, it's been a crazy week. Like I said, I've not really been playing as many video games as I'd like. And every time we do the show, I get more hyped to play games that I probably should be playing. And unfortunately, kind of not too dissimilar to what Brad was saying, all of the hype I currently have is for stuff that's not new. All the Death Stranding talk made me, reminisce about the fun times I had with Death Stranding. Obviously 2 is on the horizon. Kind of want to maybe revisit 1 because it's been a long time and I never played the director's cut. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Trailer Chalk saw all of the Balatro, stuff.
Crossovers.
That's definitely, all the crossovers. That's exciting. Wants me make me revisit Balatro because honestly, even though I've played a shit ton of Balatro, I've not really done anything like amazing in that. I've not gotten that far. I've only unlocked so many.
Up there, right?
Yes and no. Like I promise you.
Oh,
like,
you're talking about the different like stakes and
yes, correct.
Stakes. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the stakes I did not get very high on them, and I've only locked so many of the decks. So yeah, it's one of those things where even though I played a bunch of it, it's RNG. Sometimes it's not on your side. So those two, Vampire Hunters. Survivors. Yeah, I was like, that's not right. Yes, Vampire Survivors. Holy shit, seeing all of the Castlevania characters, and I want to revisit Vampire Survivors. I played a whole lot of that, and now I want to play a whole lot more. And so, unfortunately, all of the things I've been seeing the past, day or two has gotten me kind of excited to play games that I probably shouldn't be playing because there's better games for me to play. But
I don't think there's any right or wrong answer we should be playing. We just,
No, I get it.
Look at the conversation we had about Death Stranding tonight, just because Crispy finally got around to playing it. Like that.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
True.
But yeah,
why is Blizzard not just turned Diablo 4 into a auto like a Vampire Survivors yet? Why have they not done that?
That's a good
You know,
question.
remember when Epic was like, let's just make this into a battle royale game because that's what people like. Blizzard needs to make Diablo 4 like there needs to be a mode in Diablo 4 where it's like Vampire Survivors, and they're so stupid that they have not done that yet.
Pretty
Like,
certain they
literally-
tried, and I bet you Blizzard canceled it.
Somebody pay Brad the big bucks.
I mean, why not? Halls of Torment is just Diablo 1 looking ass fucking Vampire Survivors. Just do it. 'Cause
Sorry,
it's
no.
pretty. Diablo 4 is pretty,
good.
and the skills look awesome. But I don't want to play Diablo 4. I want to play Vampire Survivors. Sorry, I thought you were done, Nolan. Go ahead.
I mean, I for all intents and purposes, yes, I am done. That is basically my time in the spotlight for now.
Cool.
But yeah, that's what I got.
Play what your heart desires, Nolan. We'll be happy to
And
talk
you know
about
what?
it.
That's what I have been doing, and that's what I'm continue to do. Whatever makes me passionate about games is what I'm.
There
going to
you
play.
go. That's the right answer.
Isn't that
Crispy.
mode in Hades too.
Shut
Like,
up, Brad.
Can every game that's isometric just do one of these modes, please? Please?
Please.
Apparently, the new
Yeah,
update for Diablo 4 is pretty cool.
Whatever. It ain't
Yeah,
Vampire Survivors.
Why not?
All right, Crispy.
All right. So, like I said, I finished Death Stranding this morning, looking for something to play next, and I'm stuck between two titles, and I'm not really sure which one I should devote my time to.
What you got?
Is one of the Metal Gear Solid 5?
One of them is Metal Gear Solid 5, and I do
Okay.
really
Good
want to play
game.
Metal Gear Solid 5 again. I didn't ever actually finish it the first time. I played a lot of it and then just kind of moved on, but
Got to the first ending.
It's a pretty good game.
yeah, now I really want to do it right, as it were.
Cool.
The other game I'm thinking about playing is Signalis.
Whoa, yeah.
Ooh,
It's a good one to play.
yeah.
It's October.
That's a good one.
I was gonna ask
That's-
you guys if you had played it and if you enjoyed it.
Yeah. it's
Signalis
really
was
cool.
in my top 10
It was
the
for
year
Nick,
it came
yeah.
out. It's also it's
Short.
it's shorter. It's thematically appropriate given the season, and then you'll be ready to play Metal Gear Solid very quickly. I mean, it's probably like a 10-hour game.
I was told in
okay.
Discord that game is just as depressing as a Silent Hill experience, and that kind of made me go,
It-
okay, maybe not.
It is. It is. It is definitely
Fuck.
heavily inspired by Silent Hill and Resident Evil, but it tells a very kind of personal, touching,
Like
but
robots
depressing
or something,
story.
right?
Yeah,
Android.
no, not exactly, but you'll see. It's worth it though. I think you would like it, especially coming off of the like hyper existential kind of tone of like Death Stranding. It's also kind of like Soma-esque, if you remember that, in
Yeah.
terms of like how it makes you
mhm.
ponder existence and that kind of thing.
It makes you think, doesn't
It
it?
makes you think, and like I said, you can get through it and then get right back to Metal Gear Solid
I
5.
don't know why. I feel like I've just seen a lot of like Signalis has been popping up a lot for me, like on Twitter, like from like artists
Yeah.
I follow
Mhm,
posting
mhm.
art and stuff about it. I didn't really understand why now at first, but I guess the fact that it's October makes sense. I didn't really
Yeah,
consider that.
I think it's kind of becoming a modern. It's like a modern retro
It seems
horror
like
classic.
People are really into it.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
it's just like it's a survival horror, right? Like it's like
It
a
is.
Resident Evil, right?
heavily Resident Evil coded,
But it's
From the
very,
gameplay
like,
perspective,
you know,
but the story is very Silent Hill esque.
dude, I don't know. if you're into that. I mean,
Okay.
it's got story and characters. It's good.
It's really well designed. It's fun to play.
10 hours, huh?
Yeah, it's a pretty quick thing. Like if you were to play Metal Gear Solid 5 first, it could be like a month before you get around to Signalis. You could probably start Signalis and like 2 days later be playing Metal Gear Solid 5. You know what I mean?
I do.
So
Okay.
good call out.
Okay. We'll see.
cool. That's a deep cut. I wasn't expecting that. Anything
Well,
else?
honestly, it's the fucking this new Steam family setup is
Is it working out?
yeah, it's kind of sick. Like I can't really like spend money on anything right now. So it's been nice to be able to just like
No
go through
need.
and install and play games. Yeah. Of like all
Yeah.
the shit you guys bought. Like I started playing SteamWorld Heist 2 the other day. I started I'm Your
Beautiful.
Beast I downloaded.
That so
Played a little bit of
I'm gonna wait till next week, but I've been playing that, and
oh yeah.
Sweet.
I was so happy to see
I downloaded
Pace-
it. I haven't actually started
Pace
it.
did a top 100 games of the decade so far, which
Mm.
I guess is like the first half of the decade. Not only was UFO 50 in the top 10, as it should be, I was happy. I was so pleased to see El Paso Elsewhere in the top 20. It's like, damn, man.
Nice.
I didn't think
That's
too many
intense.
people
Yeah,
even
that's
played that
on here
shit. To see it so
too.
high, oh, I love that game. Yeah, dude.
Ugh.
Yes. Time to get a Steam Deck.
Well, the Steam Deck's not really gonna.
I see all y'all's games pop up on my Steam Deck now, and I'm like, ooh, including all that. Oh, by the way, Carlos's game of the year so far is Mouthwashing, and I think you might vibe with that.
I know.
Crispy
Mouthwashing.
Yeah.
Mouthwashing.
Yeah, I see that on the. I see that on the library, but I didn't know what it was. It looks weird.
It's a Carlos.
Oh yeah, it
Jimmy. But yeah.
Man, overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
That
Well,
could be
World
you.
Teller in chat says Signalis and Mouthwashing get lots of fan art. I was surprised to see lots of fan art of Mouthwashing myself. People are head over heels for this thing. I feel
Sweet.
like.
All right, Chris Davis, you're up.
Hey, so I mean, I finished Silent Hill 2. We've got Life is Strange next week. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh fuck.
Oh, there's that thing.
In the interim right now, the only thing I've been really been playing is Tactical Breach Wizards.
Oh, finally.
Dude, that game's
Yeah.
so
Isn't
sick.
that cool?
Yeah, it is. It's I kind of love this writing. This guy,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
it's
I knew you would.
it's.
But I told you not to get Peglin instead.
I-
Jesus.
Hey, look, Peglin looked cool, man. I really like.
No,
1
it
million.
is. It just didn't seem very Chris Davis. Whatever.
Yeah. But like, I mean, just I didn't expect the writing to be as good as it is for this. Like,
On point.
I don't remember the guy's name, but like he did incredible job on Gunpoint. But then he went and did Heat Signature, which had basically nothing in terms of narrative for me. I mean, maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't remember like ever seeing any.
Yeah, it was like a
Story
semi. I mean, it was not really like. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Not Chris Davis coded.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I think it is, but it's just not. He didn't vibe with it. Whatever.
it was a good idea from a simulation perspective, but like that wasn't this guy's strength. His strength is his writing, and he brought it back the same quality he put into Gunpoint and put it into this, and it's so much fun. Oh, I love these characters. I love this encounter
It's very charming.
system.
This whole game is very charming.
Yeah, I'm messing around with the challenges.
Ed played through it as well. I think. Curious to hear his take wherever the fuck Ed is.
Yeah, who knows? Ed is out in the ether. We'll find him eventually.
We'll catch up with him eventually.
Yeah, but that's the extent of my gaming like rat. It's gonna be this. I'm gonna finish that this weekend because I'm on Act 4. I'll do Life is Strange next week, and then I'll wait until the next game after that will be Stalker 2. So
Fuck. You were spending so much time on the Silent Hill combat. I meant to ask you, did it reach the heights of Alone in the Dark's combat? And I missed that opportunity.
listen, bitch. Okay,
Don't know-
you've been making
why'd
that
you have to
joke
do
for
that,
a year.
Brad?
A year you've been making that joke.
No,
mean-
but like I bring it up because now that you're in the Steam family,
You
have it
can
on
find
Steam?
out for yourself.
I can play Alone in the Dark. I might actually play it before Halloween.
You know,
See how
on
good this
that
combat
note,
is. As
on that
good as
note,
Resident Evil 2 remakes.
allow me to start my 4-player minute now.
Go ahead.
Which is to say that I still very much intend to do a like Halloween stream, and I think tomorrow it's going to be my first opportunity to like really sit down and kind of like curate how I'm going to use that time and when I'm going to end up doing it. I don't know. I'll let everybody know when it's going to happen, but basically I'm going to try and do like a noon to whenever the fuck, just playing chunks of games, either like horror games that came out this year that I've been curious about, including Alone in the Dark. I want to try Alone in the Dark. I want to try Outlast Trials. There's just a bunch of stuff I want to dabble in and see which one sticks. So if you're a community member who is interested in trying Outlast Trials, since that's a multiplayer game, I'm going to be doing. I know for a fact that's one of the things I'm going to be playing. And on another note, I just wanted to say, because I didn't really have a chance to mention it, but I didn't want to talk about it this week because I don't have much new to say. But I did pick up Metaphor ReFantazio yesterday. I had already played. I played through the demo, which was the demo, quote unquote, is basically the first 8 to 9 hours of the game, and I am now officially like 11 hours in. I'm like in the actual game itself.
And you're loving every minute of it?
Dude, I'm loving Metaphor ReFantazio. I'm not even kidding.
My stupid challenge has created a monster. Look at this guy.
dude,
Playing games called ReFantazio.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. This game it's speaking to me. I'm really, really, really enjoying it. But I'm not going to talk about it again until I have played a significant chunk of it. But yeah, that game is fucking sick. And then one last thing I want to mention quickly, because we didn't mention it at all tonight on the actual show, but we talked about it before the show during trailer talk. But Bloober announced their next game called Chronos: The New Dawn, and it's coming out next year. It looks really cool, looks really weird, but more importantly, it is going to be our first chance to really see, because obviously, I think they kind of knocked the Silent Hill 2 remake out of the park, but like I said earlier, they had a lot of foundational stuff there for them, right? It had the bones of Silent Hill 2, it had like the strengths of Silent Hill 2, and a lot of the stuff they changed was fantastic, but like, how does that translate? Is that going to hold true, making a completely original title? I don't know, but the trailer certainly intrigued me, and I'm fascinated to find out if it's gonna hold steady. We don't have a lot to go on at this point, but color me intrigued. I'm very excited to see what they do next, because Silent Hill 2 remake was chef's kiss for me. And that's it. That's our show tonight, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. 4playernetwork.com is our website. You can find all of our episodes there, but more importantly, you can find us on Discord at discord.gg/4player. Just a great all-around place to kind of hang out and talk about video games, movies, TV, whatever. We'd love to have you. It's free. Again, that's discord.gg/4player. But we'll get back to it next week. I'm not sure what we'll be talking about, but I'm sure it'll be more video games. But in the meantime, y'all be good to each other, play video games, and good night.
Bye.
You think they're gonna rebrand?
Do I think they're gonna rebrand?
Yeah.
I don't know why they would at this point.
I think it's time. I think Bloober is their shitty games from the past. They need a cooler name, for one. They sound like a balloon company, as Joseph would say, maybe. What are we, 183?
183. Really?
813? Oh,
813, yes.
all right.
This bitch.
Man.
Bloober.
I might have to end up doing this Halloween stream on this Saturday, which is the day after
Well,
tomorrow.
shit. Like at night? Because, so I've been streaming on the weekends.
I mean, I don't have any more days off this month, and I want to do it before Halloween. I can't do it on Halloween. I got plans.
Well, sure.
We're going to see. I forgot to tell you. We're going to go see. This is a weird way to spend Halloween night, I suppose. But we're going to go see. They're doing Across the Spider-Verse. They're screening it with like an actual like orchestra playing like all the musical parts with the movie.
Okay.
And we're gonna go watch that.
Don't you famously hate Spider-Verse?
No, I love Spider-Verse.
What?
You bitch! Don't start spreading
The
slander.
First one you didn't like or something.
No, I like the first. No, the only thing I ever said was that I prefer a different brand of Spider-Man story, but I like
Wow.
I know, I'm sorry. I know.
This motherfucker.
I'm just letting you think you're like,
I
I'm
the
sorry.
story
I
of
mean,
the Insomniac
bait.
Spider-Man. I
bait.
think was fucking incredible, and I'm taking
It
the
was
bait.
bait. I'm sorry.
He's not sorry.
I just wanted you to say it.
Boo
out loud
this
again.
man.
This motherfucker.
Unhinged, but whatever. I do like the second one better.
Second one's really good.
I like it a lot.
The second one better than the first one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I do.
Mhm. The second one's good, no doubt.
It's great, actually.
That first one.
It's actually great.
It
It's
is.
actually
It's great. It is.
I think they're both
But
great.
that first one hits so good. I
Let's-
don't
Fucking
He's-
fuck you,
he's not
Zelgan.
wrong.
Of course that's what you're gonna. Zelgan says he prefers white Spider-Man.
know.
Come on,
I mean,
come on. How is that
I didn't want
fair?
to say it.
Boo, I
How is
don't.
that fair? That's some bullshit.
Didn't want to say it.
Insomniac's Miles Morales was a fucking phenomenal game as well.
People have like, I mean, I hate to say I called it a little bit, of that Spider-Man 2, Insomniac Spider-Man 2 being a little overrated when it was like 91 or some shit. Crazy. Whatever. But I feel like a lot of people, I see more and more people saying that Miles Morales is their favorite of these Insomniac Spider-Man games.
Really?
Now that we've
I
gotten further
mean,
away from 2.
I don't know if I would go that far.
Story-wise, I feel like 2 disappointed a lot of people.
It did disappoint me a little bit. I mean, I think it's still a
And
really fun
story-wise,
game, but
some people seem to really like Miles Morales. Oh,
I mean, I feel like a lot of people were expecting much more from Spider-Man 2 than the previous games.
yeah.
you know what it is? I feel like, and I think Crispy might agree with me on this. I feel like Venom is a trap.
More than
Venom is
just
a trap.
Venom.
Because when people see Venom, they suddenly have these like lofty expectations for what the story is. But like Venom's story is never really that. It doesn't usually have the impact that I think most people seem to think it does.
It's you know what? I think Nick is onto something, and maybe not from the angle you think. People love Venom because like Marvel vs. Capcom is cool and Venom's in that, and I feel like
Or Ultimate Spider-Man.
okay, Ultimate Spider-Man is fine, but I feel like peak Venom was actually just Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and you're never gonna hit the highs of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Venom. You're just not, man. You're gonna get Topher Grace, and it's gonna be disappointing. But you know what?
I
They
honestly
released
think-
Marvel vs. Capcom, the whole series, so pick it up now. It's on Switch.
I mean, honestly, I have no complaints about Spider-Man 2. That didn't come out this year, right?
no,
That was
sorry,
last year.
the Marvel Masterpiece Venom card from the '90s might be peak Venom. It's that and Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked the Venom powers you get into, but yeah, it's just like, who cares?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Spider-Man.
I mean, I just had such high expectations for
Take
the
them out of New
story.
York. Take them out of New York.
After
Y'all, I got dragged so hard for saying that shit.
I don't think it has anything to do with New York.
No, it fucking does, dude. Y'all would nut so hard and act like I never said anything if the next one was like in Tokyo. Y'all would just nut so
I
y'all
was
all over
always-
the place and pretend that I never said anything about New York.
Not me.
being
I've
on
always
fire.
agreed with you on that.
I mean, I think that would be. I mean, I would be fine. I mean, that would be cool.
Be
But like,
fine.
no,
Be
here's
fine.
the
You
thing.
would literally cream in your.
I
beans.
would. But here's the thing. I would also, if they said the next one was in New York City, I would be like, of course it is. Fine,
And
that's
I
great.
would be sad, and you should be sad with me.
No, I refuse to go. I
It's
refuse
not,
to.
It's like swinging around the city is great, but like you're not walking around and finding incredible things. Get the fuck out of New York, okay? Spider-Man went to space and the movies, and everyone had a great time. Okay, get over it. Let's go to Tokyo.
Far From Home proved that you can do a Spider-Man story outside of New York City.
Far From Home.
What?
Did it?
I mean,
You don't like that movie? I love that
I don't.
movie.
I don't like. I like the first Spider-Man movie. I didn't like this.
Spicy.
I think.
Damn, you didn't like No Way Home?
Well, Mysterio was
No,
kind
I like. Far From Home was better than No Way Home. I really.
Oh
liked it.
wow! I mean, I watched No Way Home
agree
again
with
fairly
that.
recently.
I did
think
not
that,
like No
that
Way
last
Home.
one was so overrated.
Loving every minute of it, Jerry.
Man, I think
People,
I liked all
did
three of
not
those movies.
understand why people lost it for that last one. I don't get it. But I had a
I
good time
mean-
with Far From Home.
I liked it.
We're all
Mysterio
brain
was
broken.
good.
That's why.
Hmm?
We make movies for the memes now, Brad. That's why. That's what we do.
None of that had any.
I didn't
effect on
sign
me.
up to have to chat with all these no way home haters. You bitches.
All you fucking. That was like the first movie where people were like, you know what? I'm still gonna go see it to a movie theater. Like peak COVID. People were like all going to see No Way Home, and I was like, wait a minute. Fuck you. I
I
hope that
saw-
movie sucks.
I thought it
I
was
saw it in theaters.
Sonic 2. People were like, we're not missing another Sonic movie. for
Dude,
COVID."
have y'all seen the thing floating around where it's
Jim
Jim
Carrey.
Carrey's thing where he's
Yeah.
like, he did an interview where he was like, I'm retiring. And they're like, so you won't come back to acting? He was like, well, if like a script comes along and it's brilliant, it's a masterpiece and it speaks to my soul, of course I'll come back. And then
what does
there's
he come
like the
back
next
to?
film he did, the next film he did was Sonic the Hedgehog.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must
Three
be pretty
because he
good.
plays himself in 2 different characters.
Oh fuck! I have to work tomorrow. It's Thursday. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bye.
fucking weird flex, bro.
Yeah, I gotta go too.
Sorry about that.
Bye,
Christmas.
guys.
Oh man. Well, gentlemen, it's getting hot and sweaty
Alright.
in this room, so I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna vacate.
Okay.
Y'all have a wonderful night.
Okay, good night, everybody. I love you all. Good luck.
love all you
He
guys.
played Death
Bye.
Stranding. It's cool.
It's okay.
Crispy should play Signalis. You've been holding that in this entire time, just being like, I'm just waiting for my chance.
I was just being polite.
That's
I
very
didn't
nice of
want
you.
to rain on people's parades.
It's very nice of you. All right. Peace out, everybody. Bye, Chris Davis.
Yeah.